up, everyone? Welcome to Xbox Ultimate Podcast, episode number 175. Thank you all for finding the new stream because OBS or my internet, one of the two, sucks ass. And right as I hit the start button, everything went shit. But we're here. We are here. We are live. And you guys rock for sticking with us. We also have a lot to talk about today. You know, there's a lot of big news this week, and we have some special guests today as well to share in this news, and also a lot of other fun discussions today. So first off, I want to give a huge shout out to our guests, and then we'll get into the rest of the panel. These two are a married couple who have a awesome YouTube channel with multiple shows, and I understand the amount of work that is to do. I think y'all got 4 shows, right? As well.
Yep.
And they do interview show that's just kicked off about a month ago. That's been awesome. They've had great guests. I'm maybe a little biased.
You were wonderful.
But also very entertaining stuff, and I really enjoy watching On Point for Gamers, that channel with you guys kind of bursting onto the scene in the community, and it's been a great addition to the community, I must say. You two kind of putting yourselves out there, so super grateful for y'all to both be here. And because ladies are first, I'll start with Doodle. How are you doing, Doodle?
I'm doing great. Thank you so much for having us. Hello, chat. Hello, panel. Happy to be here. Yeah. Thank you for having us, Mav.
Thanks for being here. And you know, I know you have to put up with C Money all the time, but you're gonna
all the time. Damn it! I needed a break. You said, do you guys want to come on the show? I was like, oh hell yeah! You know, I get to hang out with other people other than C Money.
Yeah,
and I see you keeping us away on our screen.
Know.
You know what I'm saying? So.
I can drag you next to Doodle. There we go. Look at that.
Don't do it, Mav. Don't do it.
Okay. Separated officially.
Oh my god.
All right, C Money, what's up with you, man? How are you doing, sir?
Doing great, my man. I appreciate you guys having us on. And honestly, it's so cool being able to kind of rock with all of you guys that I've been, you know, watching for so long, and now finally get to kind of, you know, chop it up with you guys. So very excited. Thank you so much again. It was we loved having you on our show, on the interview. It was a great interview. I'm sorry you didn't win the rapid fire round.
Yes, I didn't want to bring that up, but it had to come up somehow.
That you also
well, thanks, C Money, for being here. I appreciate you. Have a good one, dude. You're absolutely awesome.
He got disconnected.
I'm like an insanely competitive person. People don't actually notice.
We've noticed.
We
saw.
So knowing that
you are,
I am not with video games as much anymore. Not with video games anymore. I used to be.
Damn, he's trying to play him.
No, the three. Shut up, Jasper. The 360 era.
Time out for Jasper.
I was extremely competitive back then. Like, I was a shit talker. Call of Duty, Ghost Recon, Halo, all that stuff. Right. Over time, I got older. I was like, okay, I'm just gonna play video games for fun. But you put me up against another individual where I'm graded, I cannot stand to lose. And King David, I don't understand how the hell he got 18 of those questions right, because I watched it back and I was super fast on every single one of my answers, and I think your clock was wrong. I think something was wrong and it needs to be redone.
I mean, Colt got 17.
Did you just snort cocaine, Psycho?
Yeah, what the fuck is Psycho doing?
What was
he
no.
just stuck something up his nose.
He's like, oh shit, my camera was on. Fuck.
I was like,
get ready for the show. I'm sorry, I forgot. My camera was still on. I had to get ready.
No, that's got it. Was it
cocaine?
Was that nasal spray or like?
Yeah, it was nasal spray.
Yes.
Oh my god.
We'll go with that.
Oh shit.
That's hilarious.
I just looked over and he had some white shit up his nose.
I just see him sticking something up his nose.
I love that you just called him out, though. He wasn't like, hey, you got a little something over here.
It was like, your cocaine is showing.
Yeah, you know.
You should probably do something about that.
This is not a Dave Matthews Band concert. It's like, that was last week.
I know, it's Friday. you have to prepare for a Friday night. You know.
All right, shit. So how are you doing, Psycho? You living the good life?
Flying high right now.
Fantastic. I'm about to be geeked in a little bit. No, I'm doing great. Been playing some Starfield. I ordered the Vasco freaking Funko, so I pre-ordered that.
Nice.
Oh yes, that's dope. We did that too. That shit looks hot.
Yeah, Xbox Gear Shop, you guys, if you're looking for it.
Yeah, hopefully
exclusive.
Hopefully there's chases and I'll get a chase. That'd be fantastic. But
yeah.
And then I not pre-ordered, but I ordered the Starfield shirt from the FanFest site. So yeah.
Cool, man.
That's dope.
I still can't get over you holding the
microphone. Don't hit yourself in the face.
Hey man, what am I supposed to do? I'm not gonna be like hunchback, like, hey, guys.
Yeah, I'm just what's up, everybody? I just got the
This is how I've been doing it.
At least if you were doing that, we would have seen you sticking things up your nose. I mean, if you were down here, you could have done it down there instead.
Yeah. Hold on, guys.
Give me a minute.
Yeah.
It looks like Dilbert there every time he takes some drugs. All right. Jasper, how are you doing, sir?
Pretty good. I just tried out the new Call of Duty Season 6 where they're adding all the fancy like skins from different shows and movies and stuff. Yeah.
Oh, nice.
Black Cell skin looks so good.
Look dope.
Yeah, it's a level 100 skin, so you got to get all the way through the battle pass to get the spawn skin.
You can't buy that shit.
They'll probably sell like an alternative version, but like the master one is like level 100. So
I thought I was just gonna walk in there and buy that bad boy.
I mean, you could buy.
You buy Nikki?
Yeah, you can buy
and
Nikki.
Snoop Dogg.
Yeah, I don't know if they're still in the store, but they were for a while.
Yeah, I want the Black Cell character. She looks freaking amazing.
Kate got Nicki Minaj.
They just added like a Doom pack, so you can like run around with like a Doom shotgun that runs around at like 12 FPS. So it's like the old Doom shit like that.
Really? Are you kidding me?
Cool.
Wow.
Oh damn! All right. Well, I gotta check.
Money got to go back in.
Yeah. They're doing a lot of really cool characters lately. I gotta say, they have Spawn and
was it Skeletor or some shit like that?
Skeletor.
Really.
C-Money needs to go play Starfield.
Money, bro.
C-Money needs to go play Starfield.
Seriously.
He's got time for Call of Duty. You got time to go play Starfield, right?
That's true.
I don't want to see no level 100 spawn characters and you posting that shit while you haven't played Starfield.
That's why I just want to buy it, bro. I just want to buy it so it's there. So whenever I go back to it, I have it.
Oh my god!
I ain't trying to beat nothing.
Guys, the funniest thing happened to see Money playing Starfield.
Yeah,
he was playing. I kind of fell asleep. Right, I wake up and he's talking to Sarah. Now, I don't know if you guys have heard about the fact that he's been trying to marry this chick for like ever, and she's not having it. So I wake up and she's saying to him, well, I never thought about, having the love of your life like right in front of you or some bullshit like that, right?
I was so.
And C-Money looks at me like I literally woke up in that moment. He looks at me. He's like, like it's about to go down.
It's going down. It's going down.
I was like, no way. And then she hits him with the, but I'm not ready for that right now. No, I think I took a lap around the house. I couldn't fall asleep till 3 in the morning. I was wide awake. I could not believe I woke up to witness that moment.
See the disrespect?
She'll deny you like 5 times before she ever's like, okay, fine. You gotta keep chasing it.
But
she just gotta lay the hammer down. And then she's like,
story.
Okay.
Oh wait, can I say that here? I'm sorry.
Yeah. We say fuck all the time.
Yeah. Oh, okay, cool. I feel better about that. But yo, she fed me this story. I was like, oh my god, it's happening.
I know.
Like she was like romancing me. I was like, god damn, this is the way it's gonna happen. It's beautiful.
Yeah.
It's fucking beautiful. And then she just shut me down for no reason. Like I didn't even get to respond. She said all that nice shit, and it was like, but I'm not there right now. What?
Yeah,
it was like a reality TV moment, yo. Because that's what you watch reality TV for, to see this go down.
This is what I am to her. You see what I am to Doodle? Reality TV.
Well, what's
she
funny
lasted
is
my misery.
you thought she was asleep, so this is going down when she's supposed to be asleep, and all of a sudden you hear her laughing her ass off in her pillow at you as soon as that goes down. That's great.
That was hilarious.
That's exactly how it went down.
Yeah, Sarah.
Sorry,
starts
C.
off as
I feel bad.
Rejected.
Yes,
Pong, our stories are a little different than yours.
Yeah, obviously.
You have these amazing journeys. I have getting shot down in front of my wife. You know what I'm saying? My new potential wife.
That's an amazing story too.
That's
not too often that you can have your wife happy about another female. So that's interesting.
You know what? That's true. That's true. She's just lavishing in my getting shot down.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Every time
Andreja.
Andreja like walks in front of me or something, she's like looks at me. Like, who is that?
You better not move that camera stick down.
She just like makes like comments if I'm playing. She's like, she's so annoying. I can't stand her.
You must hate her too.
Yeah.
Mav has her in the bathing suit all the time.
No answer.
Yeah.
Why is she in a bathing suit? I don't know.
I don't know.
That's part of the game.
It's a glitch. It's a glitch.
It's a glitch.
Best armor. It's the best armor in the game.
Bethesda had it again. I don't know what's going on. You know.
Damn you, Todd.
Well, it's not like Cyberpunk where they actually made your character nude as a bug.
Right.
Yeah. Those are the
why
best.
is she wearing
Mirror
tassels?
Ones. There's no tassels in Cyber. There's no tassels in Starfield.
That we know of.
Oh, Psycho.
Not yet.
No,
you say it the same exact time I just did. See that?
Fuzzy Belvedere, how you doing, Fuzz?
I'm doing great, man. This is going to be an awesome show already. These past couple of weeks, as far as Xbox news, have been great, and yeah, we got a good group to talk about it. So I can't wait to get into it.
We're gonna kind of compare the legacies a little bit. I feel like, right? Today between Phil and Jim.
Yeah.
Oh, what legacy?
I know.
The amazing legacy.
Lion crying, dance moves, retiring, Jim Ryan. Yeah.
All the games
man.
That's it. That's it.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Oh man.
GT7 getting canceled.
GT7.
Oh yeah, you heard that they're shutting down the online for GT.
Sport.
Just for sport. Just for sport.
Oh, the old
sport.
one.
Yeah.
Oh man, how's that news?
Oh, I thought it was GT7. I was like,
hey, walking in with
all I heard was
news today. What the hell's going on?
Gran Turismo
Docs is making Borderlands 4, and now GT7 is shutting down servers already.
Fellow Xbox, did you hear that PlayStation is not making games anymore?
You made him turn off his camera.
How did that happen?
Don't mind my little white shit that I keep putting in my nose.
Yeah, I was just gonna say you need some more. Jesus Christ.
What's up, Pong? How you doing, bro?
Doing good, man. It's Friday night. No more shows after this for the weekend, so this feels strange for me because I got my cousin's wedding tomorrow. So I'm gonna enjoy this one, and obviously having two amazing guests here, and Doodle and C Money. Awesome to finally get to talk with y'all live for sure. This is what it's all about in this community. This is why I do love these bigger shows, even though I do smaller ones, is because you get different perspectives, and that's what's always fun about this. And we got a lot to get into. If you guys watched PM and the PM last night, you saw Mav and I talk a long time about a lot of stuff, including Starfield. Mav, do you want to do another hour Starfield? We can do that.
We could easily. We kind of got into a little 15-minute like Starfield segment there, kind of.
With this panel, we would go like 45 hours on Starfield.
Oh yeah,
seriously.
Easy peasy, because that's all I've been playing, folks. As you all know, if you've been following me on the X, formerly known as Twitter, I've been posting a lot of screenshots. I warned you all. I warned you all that was what it was going to be. It's actually more than I even thought it was. But Starfield is just my jam. And it was made specifically for me. It's like Todd went into my brain and ripped out what I wanted. Yes.
Yeah.
That's
actually an interview.
Yeah, they said
an
it.
interview with Lex Friedman.
Yeah,
right? He was like,
oh,
in my dreams when I was making this game, I was like, yo, I have to give Pong Soul the game he's always wanted.
Correct.
And God damn it, he came through. You see?
I didn't even think he was going to do all this. Yeah. So no, that's all I've been doing. But we got a lot to get into. We got a big panel. So let's get down to business, man, for sure.
Yeah.
Let's do this.
First off, let's get to some super chats. Now, also on the previous stream that we had up, there was a gifted train rolling through there. Don't worry, I got all of those, so I'm going to.
Valerie also had a super chat on that previous stream.
Shit, did he? I saw his message. Yeah. So
was it a message?
Yeah.
Okay.
It shows up the same. So yeah.
So how many total did we get there, Mav?
See, Alvin had gifted 5 Fun Speculation memberships. And
Yeah.
then
Nice.
Alvin
That's
rolled
awesome.
with another Fun Speculation membership. So thank you, Alvin. Then
So total 6.
that's,
what
that's
else?
6. The calorie.
Alvin's a good guy.
Alvin's a fan. You have no idea how good of a
Alvin!
great guy Alvin is. Jasper knows how great of a guy Alvin is. For sure.
Yes. Yes. Alvin is.
And we all do.
That sounds weird.
Sounds
But
different.
Yeah.
Sounds real different though.
It's like a
Really
boss
nice.
moment.
Jasper knows. Like, I don't know what you're saying.
Yeah.
Like Jasper really knows.
No,
You know what I'm saying?
he
He really
gifted,
knows real good how good Jasper is.
he gifted Jasper a 3080, bro, because his,
Damn,
because
that's
his
dope.
graphics card couldn't play Starfield because he chose Intel for some reason. So
technological stuff.
no, Alvin's
Thank you for
amazing.
clearing that up.
Yeah, Alvin says pause. I'm sorry, Alvin. Wrong impression. A Calorie member for 12 months said Jared Leto is lead singer of 30 Seconds to Mars. Yeah, he is. That's a fun fact from Calorie. Let's go. Love it, Calorie. Thanks, man. Alvin with another Fun Speculation membership.
That's
so that's
great.
7 from Alvin. Appreciate you. And then Micah Ford with the 10 gifted memberships as
Nice.
well. Micah,
That's
another
awesome, you guys.
amazing community member.
We just
Thank you,
lost
Alvin.
Pong. Or
Yeah, I thought-
Micah is a cool dude. Yes,
Oh,
absolutely.
Then we got Alvin with the $5 super chat. Says, without spoilers, something happened in my game where I can't marry Sarah now. Literally had to step away from the game for 3 days. Still upset, to be honest. Damn, that's some heartbreak, bro.
Pissed off, made the
Damn,
wrong
you ruined
decision.
it.
Yeah.
Hey, it's
You
all
better
right. You're
go-
not missing.
Reload.
Yeah.
You know what I'm
Go
saying? Go
go
reload the
back and
save.
you're safe.
Yeah.
You got to play the good guy to get with Sarah.
Yeah,
Yes,
you always.
exactly.
And here's the thing, Alvin. As close as you were, right? Once you get hitched to Sarah, you gotta ride that straight and narrow, bro. Because I'm talking about there's some bipolar shit going on. There's some crazy going on. Like she will get up in your business as peaches and cream as it is before marriage. I'm just saying, sometimes you don't know who they actually are till you tie the knot, right? She comes out.
I
with
feel
a
like
vision.
you guys already know. She looks like such a bitch.
Oh,
She has that look.
He is, yes.
She starts off as a little CTs, and then she fucking goes into
She
it.
has this,
So like it's real.
And she constantly
she-
gives you fucking adhesive. Like, stop giving me glue, lady.
yeah. It's like, what are you trying to do?
She's got this like horrible. She's got this ugly, angry face. You know when you walk into the ship and you see her just.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
And
She's
then you
always
walk-
nice to me.
That's a stank face.
Yeah, she's like, "Why did you do that, you stupid son of a bitch?" I'm like, "Hey,
Listen,
you just
you're
told
just
me I
looking
was
at
the
it
love of your
differently.
life."
Listen, she is caring. She's always saying, "Hey, bud, like, don't carry all that stuff. It's so heavy for you." She just doesn't want me to get a bad back. That's all she says to me. She just says, "Stop
Yeah,
picking up
right now.
unnecessary
Yeah,
shit."
All right, I'll stop
gonna hurt
picking
you
up
right
junk
now.
if I have to stop carrying your emotional baggage. Okay, Sarah? Ease off.
Yes. Get her, Mav.
Ease off, Sarah. I dumped her ass for Andresia in a heartbeat.
Listen, I'm
I
not gonna
just-
dare
I married
say
her
a
and
word
stopped
about her
talking to
right
her.
now because I don't know if she can hear.
Steve
You know what I'm saying? So I
is so
gotta-
traumatized.
Yeah.
He thinks that she can hear him talking shit, so he
Listen.
won't do it.
I'm gonna keep it until I get what I want. I ain't gonna talk nothing bad about her. She can hear me, babe.
Yeah,
I'm still here.
She's
Okay.
like Google. She's always fucking listening when you're just talking.
Yeah,
exactly.
You're gonna go back to your game. She's gonna give you that face. What was those people talking about on me on that show? Who are they? I don't like them. You need to not be friends with them anymore if you want anything to do with me. Anyway, all right. Let's move on. Oh shit, this is a gaming show and we actually have stuff to talk about. Paul,
Here we
what
go.
happened?
Lightning strike.
Really?
Yeah.
Your
Took out the
house?
power.
Oh
No,
okay.
no, close by took out the power. So I had to wait
Okay.
for the internet to pop back
Oh,
up
shit.
and everything. I thought we might be down because that was close. Like it was a flash and then it just
Yeah,
went,
one of those
everything.
loud ones.
Yeah.
where we hear
Oh
the
yeah,
crack.
absolutely.
One of
Yeah.
those
Yeah,
loud
we've been having storms for like 3 days now. So been pretty
Yeah.
crazy. All the storms we didn't
Yeah.
have this summer are happening within this past week now. It's been crazy around
Wow.
here. So Yep. Not like New York. Not that kind of crazy, but we do have some flash flooding going on. So
yeah, you saw that flooding, bro? What the hell was that?
Bro,
it's Armageddon.
You know,
they've gotten so much rain. It's crazy. Central Park is underwater. Like
the sea lions got out today.
Yeah, the sea lions got out. Yep.
No
out of
way.
here. You shit me?
No.
Yeah, the zoo. The sea
That's
lions.
crazy.
They said they got out and like swimming around the zoo and they came back
in New
to
York.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Could you imagine just like walking down the street and see a fucking sea lion walking in front of you in New York City?
Did you see J-Rock's video?
Up?
Did you see J-Rock's video of the store? Somebody took a video. I think it might have been Jay. I don't know.
Oh,
the river rat. I go, that thing's a cat. I go, Jay, stop lying. That thing was huge. He's like, the river rats are coming out. That's how much rain we got.
Oh my
like, it was
God.
insane.
That's disgusting.
Like this. I was like, that's a cat.
Jesus.
Holy crap.
Yeah.
It's a monster.
That sounds like
it's the alien from Mexico.
Like,
I just thought that was. I saw that part. I just thought that was like
Yes.
some other animal. I didn't even think that was a fucking rat.
Yeah. I know. I know.
It's a New
That's the
York
exact.
rat.
It was insane, and that's probably not the biggest one out there.
have y'all?
That's probably just average of what comes
Yeah.
up.
Have y'all seen the things that are growing in like the drainage stuff in New York and stuff, like the
Yes.
sewers and things, like the
Yes.
big like mucus balls that
Yes.
move to light and shit?
Yes.
Oh,
Oh,
it's
yeah.
crazy.
Well,
bro.
That's some
they
video
found,
game ass shit right
Yeah,
there.
that sounds dangerous.
in the
dude.
subway and stuff. They find when they were doing studies on the bacteria and all that kind of stuff, they were finding unknown bacteria within
Yeah.
the subway system because of how much shit is everywhere. Like basically
That's
is
so
what it
creepy.
is. And they showed that was the other thing. The streets flooding today. All you saw was trash bags everywhere, like flowing down. That's like the one thing about when I went out to New York, I was blown away by, because we just don't have that here in the Midwest. But these mounds of trash bags everywhere being waiting to pick up. I'm like, Jesus, man, what is this?
Yeah,
Crazy.
you walk through New York City, every alley is just a mountain of garbage waiting to
Crazy,
be picked
man.
up
It's
somewhere.
crazy.
It's fucking insane.
This
you
is
know
not
little
what I
kids
thought
are
was coming to
swimming in
see.
Yeah.
Seriously.
I came to see the
It's a
Statue of
gaming
Liberty.
podcast.
Yeah.
Gaming podcast.
Yeah, I
We're
know.
talking about New York.
This is what we do here. This is what we do here. Come
We
on.
talk about rare New York animal sightings and trash bags.
Are you
Exactly,
guys
sir.
all
Yeah,
from
I
like
know
the
people.
Midwest or anybody on the East Coast?
No.
I was actually born
Midwest.
in New York and live in Pennsylvania now.
Yeah.
I'm in,
Let's
I'm in
go.
a weird
Nice.
state that
Alright,
counts as
that's
like
what's
fucking
up.
4 different regions. So it's like,
That-
Come on,
that's
you're
true,
the
though. It
South.
doesn't-
You're the South. You're Kentucky.
see,
Come on, man.
you could be Midwest. It could be like
No,
Northeast. It could be East Coast. It
no,
could be South.
I'm from
It's-
the Midwest. And you guys are South. You guys
I'm-
are
Yeah.
Southern.
Oh, I
Dude,
was the Midwest.
Kentucky can be located literally inside of California, and if it was still Kentucky, that shit would still be South, because Kentuckians themselves make that shit South.
Yeah,
Like,
your incident this week, Jasper, proves that.
yeah.
I can't control fucking idiots.
You have old
Park here,
people
man.
running into
Driving
your
in your
houses.
house.
Yeah.
Not
That's
running into the
hilarious.
house, like running in through the front door, like driving their vehicles into your house.
Yeah.
That's different.
Wow. That's wild.
That did happen to Jasper this week.
Yeah,
We're not
the
lying.
car-
Did it really?
Yeah.
Oh, that sucks.
What the
Then he tried to blame it on the house. The neighbor did.
What?
No,
Yeah. He
Came
did.
out
The
of
house got
nowhere.
in my way. The house got in my way.
He said the house was drunk. It wasn't my fault. He
house was
demanded a
drunk.
breathalyzer test on the house, blood test, everything. Crazy. Guy was nuts.
Yeah, it had traces of cocaine.
Psychonauts was there.
That's what Psycho brought home with him. He was there. He was the
That's the
investigator.
evidence.
It's
He's
really
like, I'll
good.
take that.
That's really
Yeah.
actually asbestos. Psychonauts. You just snorted asbestos.
Oh shit.
It's an old Kentucky house, so it's probably got lead paint and all that shit.
It explains
my
the
God.
tinkly.
Oh, the good stuff.
Yeah. Anyway,
That's hilarious.
God, we keep
Psycho
getting
doesn't
off
actually work at GameStop. He took over he took over an old GameStop that's no longer there and just is selling drugs out of it. That's what he
Yeah.
does.
all those
He's-
Babylon Falls game boxes. Of,
Yeah, exactly.
all the new game titles are just
That's
names for
hilarious.
drugs. Hey, he's like, you got some of that GTA?
Yeah, when somebody comes in and asks for an N64, he's like, "That's a key, and it's inside an N64 box," and he just hands it out. That's how they get
And
it.
Psycho's like,
Perfect.
this is
Perfect.
why game prices went up right here. Right.
Oh my God.
Sanchez MTZ Gaming hit us with also 5 memberships. Appreciate you, Sanchez. You absolutely rock. Everybody here rocks. Thank you all for being
That's right. We got a subscription train going, everybody. Let's get to 50 by the next hour. Let's go.
Yes.
And if you need some coffee, we're going to be selling coffee later. The Fun Speculation Network brand coffee that will get you up in the morning. So let's keep this subscription train going, everybody. This is great.
There might have
we
some
need to
Aurora
not
in that coffee.
We need not to have YouTube put commercials during the stream. So what we need you to do is subscribe.
You're going that way, okay?
And super chats, so we don't have to have YouTube add these commercials in the middle of the podcast. Yeah, we need that.
And that reminds me too, Psycho. I'm kind of hungry. Anybody got $20 they can send me?
What, for Whataburger?
No, the other guy.
I don't have a Whataburger here.
He has been going down.
It's gonna be McDonald's, but that's okay. Please. I sent this to 100 other people too. So, but if somebody here could do it,
how about Five Guys? You want some Five Guys?
Yeah, I do have Five Guys. I like Five Guys too.
Yo, this is messy.
Yeah,
this is messy. Super messy.
This community is messy. Let's be real, okay?
There's I feel like there's this whole other side that I never saw before until now.
Yeah,
that just kind of got unraveled with this whole
That's
guy.
a fact.
And everybody is like, this is mad motherfuckers on that side that I've never seen in my life that are all scammed by this guy. Apparently, it's like you're either part of the scammed or the non-scammed. That's it. There's only two sides. And
sad,
man. Oh, that's a whole different guy. This is
my cash app is Pong Soul.
Yeah.
We can't even get into the gaming conversations because
I know.
Let's go. This is gaming related. Kinda. We need 20 more subs for the 50. Let's go. Let's get the 50 bomb going, folks. Let's go.
Let's ride that membership train.
Let's go. 50 bomb, everybody. Let's go for it.
Yeah.
Who's going to be the first?
Bomb map
Who's going to be the first?
Sounds like a good number.
All right. Anyway. Oh, geez. All right. Alvin with the $5 super chat says all these stories about rats, cocaine, and accidents remind me of Jim Ryan. Oh,
Alvin's trying to get us back on track.
Yes. Oh, that was awesome.
Okay. All right. So, everybody,
speaking of trash,
I appreciate you guys. Thank you so much. Speaking of trash, what, Psycho?
You hear about Jim Ryan?
Yeah. Hear about what?
Jim Ryan.
Oh, Jim Ryan.
Trash boy.
Yeah. The trash has been taken out. He was sitting there on the side of one of the biggest New York City buildings, and they were like, "Hey, that's the biggest piece of trash we've seen yet. We need to get rid of that shit." Jim
That's
Ryan.
the biggest rat fuck you ever seen, right there. Look at that.
Is that a river rat? No, it's Jim Ryan.
Jimmy Jim.
Jim is gone. We'll start with this because that's what everybody seemingly wants to talk about. So, Jim Ryan has decided himself, because he's sick of flying, apparently.
Okay.
To retire.
Pre-COVID flying. He's sick of pre-COVID flying. To be clear, if you read it, he's sick of pre-COVID flying.
Well, he probably had a private jet, so he probably didn't have to do any like the massive
he's
bullshit
sick of
private jet.
He's sick of the flying he had to do 2 to 3 years ago, right? Right now, in this moment.
Yeah.
He wrote that letter then,
I'm gonna leave
he wrote
now
it then.
because 3 years ago I used to fly, and that was just way too much. 3 years ago.
3 years ago was too stressful.
I decide now.
So
that I
gotta go now. Yeah, for
Some
sure.
of those corporate jobs, you have to write your resignation letter before you accept the position. So maybe.
Right?
Yeah, exactly. I feel like they knew that, right? Jim came on. They were like, "All right, you're out in like a hot 6, right?" And then you're gone.
What if he replaces Bobby Kotick at Activision?
No,
I can see Bobby Kotick replacing him.
Once they swap, that'd be freaking amazing, bro.
Oh my god!
I don't think Phil would give that type of olive branch
Jim
to our
Ryan's
boy
definitely
Jim.
not coming to
Bobby Kotick and Jim Ryan's been playing Xbox this whole time. They're like, "Yeah, I'm going to take the golden parachute. I'm going to retire from Sony. I'm going to step in your place." It's like,
I'd rather keep Bobby.
Was it Rand? I think Rand suggested. When's it Phil goes over to Sony?
Oh Jesus!
No.
Can you imagine?
That can happen. That can happen.
I don't think Jim is going to get hired anywhere after what he pulled this year.
Yeah. He's.
I think he's just going to ride off into the sunset.
He's got plenty of money. I'm sure he's just going to chill out. And I feel like he doesn't want anything to do with the gaming community.
Yeah, it's like fuck you guys.
He's like, you guys are talking shit. I don't fuck with you. Yeah. All right. He doesn't want anything to do with us.
Jim's probably never heard that song before.
No, that's what you think, all right? But what you don't know is he's into hardcore gangster rap.
Right? I don't fuck with you. Oh.
Stupid ass, I'm fucking with you.
Yes. Oh my god, I love that song.
The guest, I'm gonna get the guest information, everything in the description. I think it was there on the first one, but I had to redo things really, really quickly. So thank you for reminding me, and I'll make sure to get that done. On the
sounds like that was a purposeful attack.
Maybe because he didn't win the rapid round, because he's like where now?
Yeah, that was him trying to get back at us.
In third place, right?
Listen, it's not our fault you didn't succeed.
Damn.
Okay.
Who did?
I heard him.
He beat Boom though, because Boom got 12, right? And Math got 16. But then, everybody else
got
Math.
17.
Damn.
And then.
Yeah,
I was like, I'm gonna put the wrong information in here. Fuck you guys. All right, fuck you guys real good. All right.
What is it? On point 3 gamers? On point 5?
My God.
Yeah, I just added it. You should be there if you we actually haven't had a guest in a while, to be honest with you. Like
we had Dusty like 2 weeks ago.
You're right.
Damn, that's so fucked up in so many ways.
What the hell happened?
My boy Dusty.
Oh, wait. Okay, never mind. That's the old stream. Oh my god, I thought our stream crashed again for a second.
My boy Dusty.
Okay, hold on. I see I'm messing with stuff and I messed stuff up behind the scenes.
Oh my god.
I know, I'm so sorry. We are still live.
So what about Jim Ryan?
So that Jim Ryan rat fuck. That rat
hit the like button, guys. There's a lot of people watching.
Guys, come on, let's go.
We gotta get those likes up.
Share the stream. Let's go.
All these gifts.
Right?
More people got gifts than there are likes.
Christmas
how can you get a gift and not hit the like button immediately after that? Come on, man.
Let's go.
That's wild.
Yeah, so this is what happens when I try and do stuff behind the scenes. Like I get distracted. Here, but I got it. It should be there. Special guest on point for gamers is added into the description.
Yeah, it's very interesting.
There you go. Thank you.
With Jim Ryan. So, Mav, why don't we start off with that?
So do you guys feel like maybe, because this is the thing, he's a businessman, right? And I feel like his behavior was very wild. It was very erratic. Like, I feel like maybe they told him, if you don't stop this ABK deal, you're out. And maybe that's why he was acting the way that he was, trying to stop that merger no matter what. Potentially, I feel like he knew that his job was on the line, and that's why he went as far as he did, because he literally dragged their name through the mud.
Yeah. Well,
and it's really sad that it had to go that far.
Fuzzy had read the tea leaves on this thing a long time ago, because like multiple times on multiple shows, he's been saying like if the ABK deal looks like it's going through, or if the ABK deal passes, he thinks Jim Ryan will leave. Yeah. And I got to give you credit, bro. You know, like I didn't necessarily see that. You know, I thought it was an interesting thought, and I thought it could be a possibility. But like you putting that out there, it's actually coming to fruition and in sync with the timing of what seemingly is going to be a ABK closing soon.
What the fuck does NSYNC have to do with it?
Well, it's because it was a Backstreet. You know what I'm saying? So
yeah, he's going
keeping everything in sync with the Backstreet deal. Yeah. You know, it's just what happens. Yeah. I feel it.
Oh, that was Backstreet.
He was feeling the heat. You know, it was 98 degrees in there, and he had to get out.
No, but he put
now
so
the new
many
kid
chips
on the block is going to take his place. You know what I'm saying?
You guys are on point.
Yeah.
No, on point. You ready for that one?
It's all fun speculation anyways.
Yeah, Jim Ryan definitely put all of his chips in that whole deal to block it, and the fact that it didn't go through, it was kind of like either they're forcing him out, or he figures it's probably better to step aside while he's on top, kind of thing, because we see what the onslaught's going to be coming from Xbox over these next couple of years, and it doesn't look like, you know, PlayStation's producing these games as a service quite on the schedule like they had hoped.
Yeah.
You know, Bungie's playing Sniper in the background. Meanwhile, we're going to probably get Marathon here soon, but Factions seems like it's dead on arrival, or not even dead on arrival, just dead, period. And this is a studio that made Factions before and to success within its own player base. So why let Bungie come in with all that control?
Snap. Hold on. Think about this for a second. I'm about to drop some. Think about it. Ready? Hold on. It just came to me. I feel it. What if this is Phil planting Bungie?
Oh my gosh.
The PlayStation.
Could you imagine?
To go fuck their shit up. And then Bungie's going to be like, all right, guys, I'm out. Thanks for the money. And then Xbox brings them back into the fold.
Dude, like, listen.
It's a possibility.
Possible.
Well, you know they have an exit clause in that contract.
Yeah, they got the free will deal.
Like, I don't
Guys,
even
that
think
deal with
Bungie's
Bungie was the dumbest shit I've ever heard.
Yeah,
like,
how do you? It stays 2 years.
Yeah, it was ridiculous.
Yeah,
they spent a lot of money on that.
Well, overspent too.
The interesting thing with Bungie is I feel like that weirdly though, that's like the best thing they have going for them for all this live service stuff that they're doing. Like they have all these other like Fair Games, Concord, all these other things that they announce. But the only thing that I think we can have any faith in with those games is Marathon, right? And I do think like Bungie was kind of a different acquisition, definitely for PlayStation. Like that was probably the biggest move that Jim made during his tenure, right? I mean, you had other acquisitions. You had like Insomniac. You had all these other companies that they came in, like Firewalk and a bunch of random smaller studios, right? But Bungie was like that big deal. It was like, whoa, okay, I didn't see them going to PlayStation, right? So when he made that deal, though, that was like the biggest sign of PlayStation changing philosophies into this like new like live service, games as a service era type shit. Bungie took a look at what they had going on behind the scenes with that stuff, and Bungie's like, yo, y'all suck at this. Let us
quit while you're ahead.
Yeah, factions, that shit sucks. Get rid of it while you can, because you're burning your money on it right now. Delays again with that. But we're kind of in this stage right now, I feel like, with PlayStation, where they're at a transition phase in the middle of it with a bunch of half steps that were made by Jim, right? Without a great pipeline of content to be excited for, really. Because all that's really excited that's announced past this year, first party wise, for me is Wolverine, right? And besides that, it's like, what else is there? So like to Jim Ryan's legacy, I look at it like he kept things status quo, right? He rested on the laurels of the previous leadership, riding the coattails of all the big franchises and games that they all kickstarted, doing sequels, remasters, definitive editions, all of these things. Meanwhile, planting the seeds in the background for this transition of where he knows that they need to get to, but left it way unfinished, leaves way too early without actually seeing and fulfilling the vision that he may have had for PlayStation there, and leaving him in a state of uncertainty. And the other thing I said last night on PM and the PM with Pong is I really feel like, besides the conversations that we've all had the last few years, Jim Ryan has turned PlayStation into a boring brand over the last 5 years. It's become
I agree with that.
Redundant. It's become samey over and over again. And then the stuff that he's maybe kicked off behind the scenes, we don't know what it really is yet, or what we do know of, it's not exciting right now. Even to the PlayStation hardcore, if we were to judge the reactions of the showcase that they had this year. So when I ever judge like a leader or whatever, I look at it like, what position did you take control of the company? And then how did you leave it? Did you leave it in a better place than it was? And that is definitely 100% unclear right now. If you want to just judge everything on hardware,
we won't know until we won't know till like 10 years down the line. But I think that we could take a look at Jim Ryan's legacy and see that he started a bunch of good things for PlayStation in the long run. How much of that pays off, we won't know until later. Like PlayStation,
assuming
VR2,
they keep it that way.
Yeah.
See, the problem is that I feel like he knew where he needed to go, but he had no idea how to get there. And this is why these games of services, they're going ahead and they're saying, oh, we're making 10, we're making 12. Like, why so many? How about you start slowly, find a really good one and make it well. 1 or 2 games, that's all we need, right? But execute it properly. Give us what we want from you.
And you could argue that's what they're doing, because Bungie canceled Bungie went in and started looking at all their games. So maybe that's what they're doing, is they're trying to narrow it down to, let's get a good game out first before we pump out 10 of the
these are things
games
that need to happen. They don't let us in a lot. So these things need to happen behind closed doors. Considering the fact that they're taking 1 step forward and like 4 steps back, take a moment, figure your stuff out, and don't tell us that you have this amount of games and then start cutting 1 out, cutting 2 out. Like, it just does. It's not a good look. You don't seem confident.
Yeah, coming out saying like all of our games are going to have, all of our popular franchises are going to have games of service. Like,
yes,
it's not something that like, oh,
whack.
Yay. I'm excited about you morphing all of my franchises that I love as what they are into other things. I don't think that genuinely ever gets gamers excited, right? How much hype do we hear about this Horizon live service games as a service game?
My gosh.
Like, I don't hear
Horizon.
I deleted it from my mind.
Protagonist there is to freaking have. She's so
people got excited over the Halo
and
shit,
boring.
So.
It's like, see, Money had it on, and it's like, you feel like you're gonna knock out. It's a lullaby. Her face alone.
I think it just depends on the franchise, like, because people got excited over Halo when they were like, Halo's going to be like a 10-year game. It's going to keep getting updates and shit. And then Halo came out.
Oh, because Halo is a 10-year game, even without them saying it, right? Because when they come out with a new Halo, people play it.
It's also a multiplayer game to begin with.
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
So, like, you have that foundation of like an understanding.
That's what I'm saying. It depends on the game.
Right. 100%.
Yes.
Right. So it's hearing it. That's what I'm saying, though. Hearing it like we're going to turn all these single player franchises into multiplayer games of service things doesn't come across as exciting. And that's pretty much what they said. And then the other franchises that they announced that are new IPs, they failed on the delivery of the announcements of those games.
Like, I agree.
I was going to say they failed with Horizon, because instead of making it like a Monster Hunter game, which would have made more sense considering the world and the robotic dinosaurs that are out there, no, they wanted to make it more like a Fortnite, and they went with an art style that's not like the game. The game is held in high regard because of its visuals to some extent. So keep those visuals and just make a Monster Hunter game as the online component, and I think you got an easy win. But no, they went for the Fortnite look. Not really the Fortnite look, but more of a cartoon-like style, and more of a battle royale style, which that doesn't fit that world.
Well, I mean, the thing is, they're
wanted to do that.
They're playing it safe because they know that those IPs now they have more of a name recognition. Whereas, like, if they went back to like Twisted Metal or SOCOM, they don't know if those are going to sell because that game's been gone for so long. It's like,
the crazy thing,
I
was so excited for that game because the collector's edition for it is like one of the most stunning ones I've ever seen. Like, the presentation for it and everything, it was just beautiful. So I had really high hopes for it.
Yeah. There's another thought to this. I want Pong's thoughts on this because I was thinking about this after the fact, right? And we had this discussion last night and about other aspects of it, but when it comes to Jim leaving at the time that he has, we know a lot of the things that he's been trying to get implemented, half steps, right, have been like about either, well, I won't say the live service stuff's half step. He's like been all in on that, right? But besides the live service stuff, he's been more or less like half steps on, the subscription gaming, like PC gaming, and all these things are kind of like half steps to like halfway meet your competitors or whatever, right? Not fully diving in, but like with live service games, he's been all in, right, on that. But Bungie said multiple times in interviews that they need more of those kind of games. Said they're going to have like 10 of them. Then all of a sudden we hear about some cancellations potentially of some of those games. The other aspect of this, of what's been going on behind the scenes and rumors and other layoffs throughout the industry that have just been recently happening, a lot of things are happening within live service games, right? And some of the companies that have been more excelling are more companies that have been releasing single player games more frequently or other experiences and have more variety in their lineup, right? Is it possible that with them seeing what's going on in the industry with kind of a lowering of the player base on a lot of these successful live service games, that PlayStation's all of a sudden thinking like maybe this wasn't the right move for us to dive this far into live service, and Jim was the reason behind that, right?
Yes, that is certainly possible, Mav. That's something we talked about when we first started hearing this big plan for whatever it was, 12 live service games as a service for within the next 3 to 4 years or whatever, I think Jim said. We talked about that right away and said, are they too late to the party? Because we've seen the saturation of these types of games now within this industry. And we've seen, like you just pointed out, like we've heard about, even the big ones are losing players.
Epic just laid off 830 people.
Yeah, correct. Right, exactly. Because Fortnite isn't making enough money. It's making oodles of money, but it's not making enough for the investors. But that was always our question was, is Sony too late? Because that was always our point from the beginning, is that because they rested on their laurels for an entire generation once they figured out, oh, we've trained our entire fan base to like one type of game. That's cool. We'll just keep making this one type of game. We'll have third parties, we'll cut deals with third parties to supply the rest of the games, but these are the games that we're going to be known for. Once they decided to rest on that, they decided that Xbox was no longer a factor, not realizing that Phil would convince Satya the way that he did and that it would become Godzilla would wake up. Are they too far behind? Can they make up that ground? And are they putting now, are they doing an overcorrection? So Jim looked at their lineup and said, oh man, we got to start diversifying our lineup. We've got these big AAA third person over the shoulder narrative driven games that are costing us between $100 and $250 million per one. They're high risk. We don't see the return that we want to see off of these games. This is not sustainable. So what do we got to do? We got to diversify our lineup. Okay, these games as a service. Well, we've seen a lot of people have success. Look at Microsoft. They got Grounded. They got Sea of Thieves. They got all this other stuff going on.
Dude,
it seems to be really kicking off.
Minecraft Dungeons.
Correct. Minecraft Dungeons.
25 mil, bro.
25 mil players.
Right.
They also just announced they're ending support for it.
Right.
But it's like still like 25 million players on any game is a massive success, right? Like,
it is. And that was always our question. Is PlayStation too far behind to catch up? Are they overcorrecting with the games as a service? Now, I said that they kind of had to, because we know the fail rate of these types of games is extremely high.
Yeah.
And I said from the beginning, when they announced these 10 to 12 games of service, if they get 1 or 2 to hit, that's a W. But they've got to invest and they've got to try. Now, the difference is that with PlayStation, they decided to start killing them on the vine before even letting them finish.
Yeah.
So now they've got Bungie, and they legitimately bought Bungie for $3 billion. Obviously, Destiny is a cool thing to have and all that good stuff. But every interview, they've reiterated this when they talk about Bungie. They've legitimately bought Bungie to be quality control, to be QC for them on these types of games.
Advisors.
Right. So they bought Bungie, brought them in, said, hey, look at all our great games and service games. What do you guys think? And they're like, yeah, no. And this is what we're seeing. And
then the community's like, no to Destiny.
right, exactly. And Bungie's got its own thing going on right now too, right, with Destiny 2 and what they've been doing over there. But the point being is that I felt they had, if you're going to, because of where they're coming from, because they're so far behind, because they rested on those laurels, because they sat around and admired the kingdom that they had built and thought nobody could come take it away from them or threaten it. Because they did all that you kind of had to go all in on this, because you have to get 1 or 2. They need those streams of revenue. Now, I would say that personally, I would look at established IP like they were trying to do with factions. I would look at those internal first party, like Fuzzy was saying. I would have done something different with the Horizon version that they're going for. Maybe it'll be great. Maybe it'll come out and everybody will love it. I don't know. But like Fuzzy was saying, I would not have gone that direction with that. I would have used my internal IP for a few different games as a service, because you have that name attachment to it. And then I would have done something like a SOCOM. I would have brought something back on that level. But they did it this way. So you kind of have to go all in, because you need 1 or 2. Especially now that they see Microsoft taking pieces off the board that they can no longer use from the third party standpoint, they're going to lose a lot of that Call of Duty revenue money. They need this extra cash flow to make sure that they have enough to continue to do those AAA big games that are costing them between $100 and $250 million, and probably are just going to get more expensive as time goes on. So I think that they had to do this. And you're right. This was probably Jim's call, Mav. Absolutely. This was probably one of the things that he greenlit when, on top of the acquisitions, on top of some of the other stuff we talked about last night in PM to PM, absolutely the investment in the games as a service side of things was definitely Jim's call. And that's why we talked about it last night, Mav, and both of us agreed it's incomplete for Jim until we see these things finally launch. Now, it doesn't look like they're going to have 10 to 12 anymore. It looks like maybe we're going to get 6 to 8 out of everything once they're done. But we'll have to see if any of those are successful. If a couple of them are successful and they become money makers for Sony, hey, that's a win in Jim's column, even if it took a bunch of failures, because games as a service fail all the time. Again, it's a high risk proposition.
I think with that though, it doesn't just depend on those games. It depends on what happens with the rest of the lineup as well.
The other stuff too, but we were just focused on that right now. But yeah, like we talked about last night, like Cory Barlog's new game, all that kind of stuff.
Into that stuff, right? Like what is their pipeline look at like?
Well, I don't think they're going all games as a service. They're going to still have their God of Wars every couple years or whatever.
No, and they've got their teams working on new AAA single player games too, like Cory's, right? Cory Barlog, Jim greenlit a portion of the A team at Sony Santa Monica with Cory to drop off of God of War and go make this what is supposedly a sci-fi game, right? And a sci-fi RPG. So we got to see how those games turn out. Yeah, absolutely.
It's wild. It's wild, the idea that they actually, like, let's be clear. Like, what has Cory Barlog done outside of God of War? That was a new IP. That was his own. That was like a big deal.
I don't remember if that was that his first lead was when he redesigned God of War.
I know he left to go somewhere else, and then he like worked with the team and then came back. So this is my thing, right? I can appreciate everybody so pumped, okay, about Cory making this sci-fi game, right? But let's be real. My man made a God of War game. He didn't make some new brand on his own.
But he did reinvent it.
He did
Yes. But if that game was called, you know, Jimbo's Great Adventure, it would not have been the same game, because what was the pop?
Reinventing something and making something are two different things.
Yeah, because you're taking a fan base that already exists and moving them with you. But coming brand new, no matter how you cut it, you're taking a risk because there's not an existing fan base. And unfortunately, as much as it's cool to think, Cory is not that much of a big dog. He made one big game. He didn't even do the follow-up because he couldn't come up with a better version of God of War than what he already came up with. So my man said, I'm going to space. I got to get away from this topic altogether. And I got to see if I can go find something out there. But now my man's going to space when Starfield exists. And I got to tell you right now, space games are going to look really funny when they come out next to Starfield. And this guy, again, he made a cool game. It's dope. But let's be real. I played the second game and stopped. Right? So the game that he made was cool for one shot. But the world is not talking about God of War Ragnarok. I mean, let's be real. The first one like changed everything.
See, money. That's all they've had to play all year. That's the same. That's what they've been playing. They've been playing God of War Ragnarok over and over and over again because they haven't had any games in 2023.
Because they got no games,
right?
They got no games. But that's to show you why they spend so much time talking about our games, because nobody's sitting there playing Ragnarok. Even people buying new ones are not buying Ragnarok. Like the moment's passed.
Well, I mean, the sales numbers kind of speak to it as well. It's not like it sells well, right? Like it sells great, you know, but at the same time,
not really for how much is out there.
Not in comparison to how many PlayStations they sell, right?
Exactly.
If you think of those numbers and then you see how many games they're selling, it just doesn't. The math is not there.
So it's less than 10%.
We're going to get into a conversation.
Well, I mean, no game's going to sell 100 million copies.
Right.
So
but
like,
where I want to
GTA 5.
Go look at
different.
GT, go look at Mario Kart. It's pretty close to that shit, man.
Is
that like 65?
We're gonna have a conversation later as one of the topics tonight about player count, player base, right? And because Clobrel actually put out a tweet yesterday that brought attention to things, and we just talked about Minecraft Dungeons, 25 million players, right? Like, and there's a lot of other games that some people seem as not successful or whatever, you know, that like have huge player bases. Some of them have been going on for years and years and years or whatever, but like, it's about the model, the structure of how they're doing things. And I feel like the Xbox model, like, people are playing Xbox games more than people are playing PlayStation games because they're available in more places. There's more availability to it. And you're talking about games that have only been out for a year or two in some of these numbers as well. So we'll have that conversation. But like, to get back at the gym thing, I do feel like right now it's like leaving at a bad time to see his vision through. I think he saw potentially a very difficult couple years of road ahead. He talks about being tired of flying and all that shit, and seeing the roadmap of what they have, what he knows is going on, everything that with the pipeline, the ABK getting bought by Microsoft, all these other things all factoring into one. And he's like, I'm fucking tired. I don't want to do this shit because it's going to be a battle for a couple years ahead, and I'm going to get out while we're on top and while things are still going to look good, because my legacy can be judged based on the laurels of the past leadership if I leave right now. But for us, we're smarter than that, realize that, you know, that's not really what his legacy is going to be. It's going to be 5 years later, everything that happened that he set the stage for, right?
Absolutely.
And people have been asking for Phil Spencer to be fired. People have been asking.
Oh my God, some clown ass shit, dude.
Crazy.
Phil, like, saying it's horrible for gaming. Phil is the worst thing to happen to Microsoft. Phil is this. Phil is that. Phil's had a lot longer to see his vision come through, right? He's been more in charge for the better part of a decade now, right? But regardless, you look at, for a while, it was like there's Phil and there's Jim. That was like the last 5 years, right? The two faces, right? And as horrible as Jim Ryan was in front of a camera or talking or in interviews and all these other things, as horrible he was maybe the most polarizing figure in charge of Sony that I can ever remember, because the conversations, I feel like past leaders within Sony, there was more of a universal respect of them, right? Regardless if you're, you know, like only love Xbox or love this or that, like, you know, the Jack Trettons, the Sean Layden's, Shuhei Yoshida's,
Andrew House.
Like, going back, there's more of like more of a respect there about like, hey, these guys are gamers, or they come across as gamers, they understand us, right? Jim never seemed like he understood shit except for dollars, right? And when you're the head and you're the talking face of the company, and you come across like that's your focal point, that's all that you care about, really, is that leaves a polarizing type figure there that is going to get talked about a lot, right? And for me, more so than anything, that is his legacy, right? Of being this guy that didn't quite fit the face to the fans, right? A lot of PlayStation guys have turned on him at different times as well, based on his decisions, and they come around and, you know, try and defend him and all this stuff.
Yeah, but I mean, I would also argue he's been the most beneficial to PlayStation with acquiring more studios and stuff.
He got Bungie, he got Insomniac, he got
9+ acquisitions for PlayStation.
Right,
that's a big deal. That's going to help them in the long run. And
but they already shut one of them, and then already almost shut. Was it Deviation or whatever? They got him, and they're shutting that down. I mean, listen, buying studios that didn't produce a game yet is not
that's a good point.
Something to brag about.
Yeah, like the like Haven, you know, like studios like that are unproven. We'll see what they turn into. I think the jury's out, and that he'll be judged on that stuff as well, I feel like.
For sure.
But like comparing legacies, like I feel like while there's been so much anti-Phil stuff out there for so long, except from the Xbox community, even though there's been some within the Xbox community that have been that, like, there's no comparison about what legacy they will leave as far as changing the gaming and the impact they've had on the industry. whereas Jim's been more half-stepping into these other things, but really maintaining status quo for this generation, at least as up to this point. And then Phil Spencer's been completely remorphing and changing Xbox and innovating on different models within the gaming industry in order to save Xbox. And even if you want to compare acquisitions there, you talk about those ones that Jim got, and I think they were targeted. He got what he could afford and all that kind of stuff, right?
Yeah, I mean, they have two different completely budgets. Yeah, $1 billion company versus...
Right, 100%. But people criticize Phil for going and getting these acquisitions, right?
Well, only certain people. Okay, let's be real. Let's be real about
IGN,
this.
IGN,
but again, that's a certain people.
They wear white
that's a certain
paint on their face, and they wear a red nose.
That's still a part of the certain people, a certain group that still has a problem with Microsoft and still has a problem in a lot of ways with doing business in that manner, even though that is, again, there's no law, no rules. So it's just one of those things.
Go ask the companies. Right. Yeah. Go ask the companies that were purchased if they're upset that Philly Phil rolled up and saved them.
See, Money, that's the thing that I always point out. None of these were hostile takeovers.
Yeah.
It takes two to tango in all of these. All of these people wanted. Go watch the Obsidian documentary and how they talk about
they're that much
what
better
they did.
for it, you guys. Because like, let's talk about like Starfield, right? You guys love the game. It was supposed to release like what? 2 years ago?
Yeah, March.
Because he purchased Bethesda, right? He went ahead, he gave them the funds and the time to go ahead and work on this game and give us the game that it is today. Without Phil, that was will probably be a PlayStation game. Let's be honest.
Yeah.
They were going to cap it. They were going to take it. Now, if you guys want to go ahead and complain about anything that Phil has done, how about we start thinking about the fact that he was cornered into doing this? This was a reaction, all right? This was a reaction about the way that PlayStation, okay, and Jim Ryan, the way that they do business. They were trying to get everything exclusive. They were trying to keep everything out of Xbox hands. So Philly had to go to Big Daddy, and he got that wallet. And he went now and he spent that money. Correct. You got to bring it home, baby. What are you going to do? Dig your grave and jump in it? No, you freaking rise and you fight back. Yeah. Nobody was talking shit when Phil was sitting there congratulating everyone, right? And sitting at the Game Awards when he knew he didn't have any games. Nobody had anything to say, right? If anything, Phil shouldn't be there. He shouldn't have a job, right? But he went ahead and he had a plan. And that's what Jimmy was missing. Right? He made this box and he put PlayStation in there. PlayStation used to be fun. They had a lot of games. They had a lot of things for us to look forward to. And he took everything out of it. They stripped it. And I'm not complaining about games like The Last of Us, right? Those games are stunning, beautiful. They capture your freaking soul because you feel for Joel. You connect to these characters, right? So it's an amazing experience. Correct. Spider-Man, great game, right? No, but you have to give us more than just what's bringing you money back. And I understand they don't have the same type of budget, but you have to give the players, you have to reach out to everyone, not just one type of player.
Correct.
Yeah, and I feel like part of it is, I could give him a little bit more credit if he was able to convince Sony if he wanted to, or if they didn't half step as much into these other things, right? Like the subscription model they came out with sucks ass.
So bad.
They still haven't done a lot of other things as a quality of life services that should be standard between both platforms. You know, every time Xbox usually innovates on these kind of things, like PlayStation usually a generation behind and they kind of copycat it, right? But there's some certain things they still have not done that I feel like should be there. The fact that they don't even have a PC app yet is absolutely mind-boggling with what they're trying to do with PC gaming, and it can't be that fucking hard to launch. I'm sorry, like I don't understand exactly all the tech stuff, right? But like Epic did it. Like Sony's way bigger than Epic. Like there's other like sites and stuff that have started like PC storefronts and all these kind of things. It's come out like 2 years ago that they were working on one. Where the fuck is that, right? The fact that we don't have those, the fact that you don't get like cross buy and all that kind of stuff, or cross save and the cloud saves, all these other things. I feel like is like a detriment to the ecosystem. That is actually a detriment to the amount of players they can achieve to get. And if that's their goal, to reach as many players as possible, dipping your toe in, half stepping, giving people shit a year and a half later, you know, sometimes 2 years later or whatever, or selling people the same game 4 different times, all that kind of stuff is not the answer to get to grow the player base. That's not how you do it. You got to be more accessible, and you got to be in more places and give people better value for their dollar. And everything that they've done within Jim's era has been, we're doing this to say we have it right now, is kind of like the appearance of it, or to be able to twist our numbers to be able to get better deals on things and stuff like that. But nothing as far as like, hey, this is for you, the gamers. I will give them credit for the PS Plus game collection they had when you got the PS5. Felt like that was great. They gave the people like several games, but as soon as they launched the PS Plus new model, they got rid of that shit. They actually took value away from you and gave you nothing else in that bottom tier. They actually, the PS Plus Essentials is actually worse than PS Plus was before, if you're a bottom tier subscriber to the service. And doing stuff like that, now raising prices without adding any extra value to it, without putting more games day and date. I'm not saying, or even if they don't do day and date, 6 months, 3 months, you know, whatever, like it's
should be day and date.
There's so many other games that they could be putting in there that they aren't doing, that would be helping them grow that subscriber base, helping them increase that revenue, grow their player base as well. Because could you imagine if they had that going on PlayStation, PC, and all this kind of stuff? Maybe it's Sony high ups, maybe it's the other Sony boards and stuff that he's been battling against. But to the credit of Phil convinced Xbox and Microsoft to go in on all that stuff, and Xbox is reaping the benefits on software and content and services. Meanwhile, PlayStation's been half-stepping, and we see, even though they're selling more boxes, their content and services and software have been down and down and down, even when they had the games, right? So that's what gets you your profit. That is the profit margin. That's why when those models came out like a week ago, right, regardless of how 100% numbers they are, it costs Sony more money to make less, because they have less profitable revenue streams than Xbox does when it comes to services, right? So it's interesting to see everything that's going on. This is why also they got to do the games of service stuff, right?
That's why they're desperate, man. Because the engagement level for Sony is different. The engagement level for PlayStation is way behind Xbox, way behind. Because those games that they have, as great as they are, all the Game of the Year awards, all the flowers that all those games have always gotten, they do nothing to keep people engaged in the ecosystem. Sony understands that is a huge metric nowadays, because like Phil pointed out, all the court documents pointed out, the more people are engaged with your games, the longer they're in your ecosystem, the more money they wind up spending with you. And that's the thing that Sony and PlayStation have been missing since they went to this non-diverse lineup. That's exactly what's happened to PlayStation, and that's why they're so desperate and throwing so many games as a service at the wall. And that's why I still say we'll never know what Jim agreed with Sony Corp or what he was fighting against, but the next hire is going to tell us who ultimately takes over for Jim. Will tell us if it was a battle with Sony Corp, or if it was they were just half-stepping, maybe because they've got their eggs in PSVR 2. And because
if the new CEO comes in and cancels that shit, then you know that.
Then that was the ultimate
guy is a mobile guy, isn't he?
Correct. Yeah, he's been on record as saying that mobile is better than console.
And I think right now, like if Jim would have stayed on, and still right now, I think it's the brightest future PlayStation's ever had.
Yes,
for me personally, like I think there's more diverse content. There's not just your single player games. So for me, as a gamer that's not in the PlayStation ecosystem, PlayStation is looking brighter and brighter the further it goes along.
Well, if they do it well, it's bright. If they shit the bed, then they're gone.
I'm less excited than I've ever been for PlayStation,
because you don't have a roadmap. Because you don't have that clear roadmap.
You don't know what's coming.
And the games as a service roadmap doesn't matter ultimately to get you excited. Like eventually maybe it will, but at the end of the day, you want some bigger games as well.
They have
now
more
listen to what this new guy is
saying,
right?
PlayStation has more projects in the works than they've ever had. Bungie has like 5 games in the works.
Correct.
And then there's all the studios that they've acquired.
Right. I just don't know what they are. So I want
but the funding is not there though. You know what I'm saying? It's not all these games being made doesn't have Microsoft dollars behind it. It has
do not.
Sony's little piggy bank that they have on the corner of their table, hoping that they don't have to smash it to give the last bit. Like they're just trying to survive. Listen,
go ahead.
This is the reason why they won't go and put their games on PC day and day, and why they won't do any of these things, because they don't have enough games. They don't have enough games that people want and look forward to. So if you put your games day and date on PlayStation, on PC, you only have 5 games that you're going to release in the next 6 years of content. And then if you're a PC owner and you're going to get that, there's no reason to buy a PlayStation, right? Because you're already getting everything there. And for PlayStation, they need that money more than just every time they release their game. So they need you to have to buy a PlayStation. So you spend more money in their ecosystem because you have a PlayStation.
The reason why this doesn't bother me is because this is the exact same shit we went through with the Xbox One generation. If you were on the Xbox One side of things at the beginning, you were fucking struggling. You were waiting for games. You were waiting for acquisitions. You were waiting for all this shit. You just had to wait 7 fucking years. You had to wait till next gen. And we're finally seeing the benefits. That's what's PlayStation.
Yes.
But why are we seeing the benefits?
But Jasper, you can wait till you're 54 years old and Sony's budget is not going to go any higher.
We're seeing the benefits.
My dude.
Yes.
They don't have trillions of dollars to spend.
We are only seeing the benefits because that Microsoft money came in. Now, if you listen to this new guy stepping in, right? What is he saying? Mobile is the future. The best thing that can happen to PlayStation, because they don't have the money, right? We look at Microsoft, they have Xbox. Apple needs to step in and buy Sony. They need to buy PlayStation. And with that Apple money, they'll be able to fight against Xbox. Believe me.
You think the regulators are going to allow that one?
Yeah, that's
you don't need an ABK to compete with Xbox.
Apple or Amazon.
You don't have to buy ABK to compete with Xbox. You can buy plenty of other studios and still compete. It doesn't have to be a $70 billion deal.
Sony,
and it's not going to happen overnight.
Sony cost is worth almost what Microsoft bought ABK for. You know what I'm saying? It's not that big of a difference. Sony is not going to be able to survive the long run. Listen, King David's been saying it forever. And if you don't think that there's some truth to this shit, then you got to think about it again, because the dollars don't make sense for Sony.
There's no money there.
They can't double the amount of games they have at the AAA level because they can't afford it.
They don't have the money to do so. They need somebody to step in and buy them. They need that money.
They need a sugar daddy.
Without it,
they need a sugar daddy.
Shit.
Exactly.
They need
a sugar daddy.
Yeah.
They need Apple or Amazon. That's really the only people. Google
the issue with that, I agree, that could be potentially a good thing. Sony having more investment to make more games is a great thing. I would love that. Right. Yep. The issue is to those companies, the regular Xbox had to battle a million different things to get ABK. I feel like Apple themselves would be really, really hard, right? I could see.
It wouldn't. Here's why Microsoft had a problem. It was gaming buying gaming, because Microsoft being the parent company, its main focus.
Apple makes a shit ton of money in gaming. They
don't make games.
But
they don't actually make games.
But you talk about the duopoly in the mobile storefront, and that's where the challenge is going to happen. Is in the mobile storefront,
but Sony doesn't have a storefront. So the difference is Apple or Amazon could come in there and they don't have to worry about Apple wouldn't have to worry about the duopoly.
I think Amazon could do it. I don't know about Apple just because of the storefront, right? That's the issue.
Yeah, but their storefront is not any different than Sony's storefront or Microsoft's storefront.
But on mobile, that has like more. There's like two players. There's Google and then there's Apple, right? Like in mobile.
Yeah, but Sony makes phones. They don't have their own storefront, so that wouldn't be a factor in the regulators' eyes.
Look at what was a factor to their eyes about getting Call of Duty for the cloud with like so little fucking like people.
Well, to be fair, that's only the CMA,
right? But
like there was nobody else cared about it. You know what I'm saying?
And the FTC and the EU. The EU did care as well.
To be fair,
well, the EU passed it though.
You compare the effects of putting ABK games in the cloud, which is small potatoes, compared to putting Sony games in your mobile storefront exclusively. Right.
Yeah, but Apple doesn't only do things exclusively on Apple though. They've gone out of their ecosystem. iTunes is on Windows. It's Apple Music. This was all in their walled garden, but they broke it all out.
They would
have an Android and have Apple Music. So they have their apps already out there. And honestly, if Apple was going to do this, right, if they were going to go buy Sony, they're obviously going to let Sony be Sony, right? Just be the bank behind them to have them grow and push further. And then what the real benefit for them is to go ahead and take those games that are currently being made. And we already know that the iPhone 15 Pro Max and the iPhone 15 Pro line can handle console level quality games, right? So all they have to do is buy that. And then all of a sudden they have Sony IP that they could now just sell on their store.
Exclusive.
Apple has exclusive games right now in Apple Arcade. They don't make it, but there are exclusive. So there's no difference between that.
I agree.
And them being able to sell.
I agree. They should be allowed to. That's not what
I think they will see that Sony is struggling. And I think the argument from Sony is, listen, we cannot compete with these big people. If you don't let one of these big companies buy us, we won't survive.
Did they care about ABK struggling? Did they care about the employees struggling with
ABK? No, but ABK is just a software company, right? Sony is a manufacturer of the console. If they go away, Xbox is the only big console.
Sony's not going away.
Well, I mean,
if Sony's not going away,
if they can't compete with Xbox, what do you think is going to happen? Xbox has a freaking 10-year deal with Nintendo. They have a deal with everyone for 10 years.
PlayStation is the most profitable line.
Literally alone.
PlayStation is going to be the last thing Sony ever cuts.
Yeah, but it's not about Sony cutting. PlayStation is the lifeline of Sony.
Yeah.
Like, believe that. Understand this. You're looking at it like you're not seeing like Xbox to Microsoft. If Xbox fails, Microsoft is fine. Sony does not have that privilege. If PlayStation died tomorrow, if they just every game they came out with was a 5 out of 10, nobody was liking their games, and they just decline, Sony doesn't have anything to offer. Their TVs, they're not the big dogs in TV anymore. They're not the big dog in anything except for PlayStation.
Yeah.
And this is why this is the easy thing to see. And this is why, like, you kind of have to take your eyes away from what's currently happening, because what's happening right now doesn't matter, right? Whatever happens right now is already in play. You got to look forward, right? Just like Jimmy Jim looked forward. And Jimmy Jim said, holy shit, if we don't get some multiplayer games out there,
we're screwed. Yeah.
So we're going to bring out 10 or 12, right? They're telling you what you should be seeing. But we like to put up the ideas of what's happening right now. But business doesn't work that way, my man. Like the money I make today doesn't mean shit because it's gone.
Yeah.
Right.
It goes right back out.
What my company is producing for me in 3 months, in 5 months, in 6 months, because that's the way business works.
Is that why Jim was laid off, because of future projections, or why?
Well, think about this. Think about this real quick. Everybody is forgetting that we have leaked documents, and those leaked documents tell us that after ABK was being bought, Jimmy said, we're fine. I'm not stressed. This is no problem. We know the game's going to come to our system. Everything else happened randomly, mass sporadic. All of a sudden, there was this big thing happening. Does that sound like the same person who wrote those emails in confidentially, not knowing that people would see that? he was chill. He was like, we're good. All of a sudden, it became life and death. He had, no, we can't let this deal happen.
Yeah.
That is where you know
that's what you need to pay attention to.
Don't forget, Jim is not the big dog. He's the big dog of PlayStation. He's not the big dog of Sony. He is not Satya. Yeah. He is not. So he doesn't get to make those calls. And you can see it clear as fucking day. Email show, cool as cucumber. No stress. I talked to Phil. I talked to Bobby. We're good. The game's going to be here. Nothing's going to happen. And we got things cooking, baby. We got so much stuff in the pipeline. These motherfuckers don't know. Well, guess what? Literally months after that, the world is ending. I don't want a new deal. I want to block your merger, right? That is to show you that this is not Jim. This is above him. They told him, you better not let this shit happen. And that's why Jimmy Jim's flying all over the God Green's earth when he hates flying, apparently, to try to stop this. And that's why he was to him, it was worth embarrassing himself as a businessman, as a person. Man, he embarrassed himself so much to try to make this shit stop because it was now or he was gone. Yep. And you know how you know that? Because my man is gone. And you know what else? There's no one to take his place. So they took the number 2 guy at Sony. The number 2 guy. If you're going to do an interim, you would get somebody somewhere around that level, right? Let's have him go around there, maybe one guy up or something like that. You got the number 2 guy, second to only the CEO of Sony. He's the COO and the CFO coming to run PlayStation as a little interim. First of all, when you read his little, he put out like a little blurb. You know, they had a statement from him, and he says, "I look forward to working with Jim to do this and for the future of PlayStation." Like, he's not talking like some dude that's out in a couple of months.
Nope.
You know what I'm saying?
He sounds like he's there to stay.
He's down to set a plan in motion. Now, he may go back and let somebody else take that spot, but he's going to lay down what's going to happen, and then somebody else is going to take his place. If this was just something that Jim planned, which I'm sorry, you don't go from writing that email to saying, oh, yeah, mind you, his complaint was from years before that email. But in that email, he was chilling. Everything was great. No worries, right? He wasn't talking to his board. He wasn't talking to like the stockholders or any of that shit. He was talking to somebody else. Cool as a cucumber, man. So this tells you what you need to see. If this was something that was pre-planned, they would have been prepared. Okay, they would have had somebody ready to go, whether it was Herman Hulse, whether it was Shuhei Yoshida. They have options.
Yeah, maybe bring in the replacement and kind of have a transition period and all that kind of stuff. Yeah,
because you need them to take some time. But now he's going to be gone. This other guy's taking over, and then they're just going to put somebody else in out of nowhere? No, my man's going to be there for a while. He's going to be there for a while. He's going to sit pretty until he gets this to where he wants it to be. He talks about mobile. Guess what? PlayStation fucking needs mobile. They need PC. They need somebody who's going to say, let's cut this shit and let's start putting our games where the players are. Phil knew this. Everybody laughed. Everybody said, oh my God, why do I need an Xbox? The games are on PC. Because he doesn't give a shit. Be smarter, bro. Be smarter. He doesn't care. Okay. He knows that the money is not in selling the box. The box doesn't matter. If you make good content, people will come. If you build it, they will come, right? You make the games, people will show up to play it. That's why these games are blowing up on PC. That's why these games are blowing up on Game Pass, because there's good content and players are going to come. Yeah. And when they go ahead and keep spending that money, Matt Booty, this was not a lie. This is not something that he just said. No, spend them out of business. Those were his words. That's what we're seeing in play right now. And if they don't change the way they're doing things, there is no future for that. And you know how you know? Because they already sold the consoles necessary to prove that out. They have over 100 million consoles in circulation. and the numbers are not rising. There are not more people who are buying God of War. There's not more people who are buying Days Gone or Ghost of Tsushima. I think Boom said on the show the other day, 20 million. 20 million is where God of War was, even if you boost it up to 30. That means by default that there's between 70 and 80 million people who have a PlayStation who don't give a shit about PlayStation. They are only on PlayStation because that was the box that their friends said to get.
Which, by the way, people ask us all the time, like, what should we get?
Yeah. I feel like a PlayStation's kind of become the like de facto just like casual box choice, right? Like
exactly.
If you play games. So I feel like it's in a lot of houses that don't necessarily get played that much, right? Whereas I think Xbox is more of like a dedicated like hey, we're more invested into gaming and stuff.
Well, because you had to choose the Xbox on your own, right? Yeah, like you had to say, I want Xbox, not like PlayStation, which again, you have all your boys have a PlayStation. You're like, all right, fuck it, I get a PlayStation because we're going to play Call of Duty, right? Yeah. Or I'm going to play Madden with my homies, so I'm going to play there, right? Xbox, if you choose Xbox, that's because you're saying, I like what they have. I want that ecosystem. And yeah, you have friends who are over there. I mean,
all the consoles are casual audience at the end of the day. PC is the only one that's really
there's like, so the console market's like kind of capped out anyway. So like these companies are going beyond that. I want PlayStation to succeed, right? I want PlayStation to be successful because I actually have a lot of franchises and games that I've loved playing since I was young on PlayStation. Right. My issue that I have with them now is where has what it's become the last 5 years, the last like 8 years, really has a lot of franchises that I just personally am not as interested in. And we keep getting remasters, rehashes, and sequels of a lot of those games. And we've lacked the variety and the diversity in the portfolio. And I see some other things, like to your point, Jasper, about like they have a lot of other stuff in the works, right? But like right now, I don't see a lot of that's exciting. That's like announced for the pipeline for the next couple of years that I am interested in. Like even
that's fair. Like I just think that PlayStation they have a more diverse lineup than they've ever had coming up. And we went through this with the Xbox One generation. Phil came in, he saw what they were doing wrong. He cut the fucking Kinect out. He's like, we're getting rid of that shit. We're acquiring studios. Now the new boss is going to come in. He's like, we're cutting out the PSVR. We don't want that shit. But we can keep acquiring studios, and we already have some. Right. So it's like PlayStation's never looked better. It's just we have to get there.
See, my thing with Jim Ryan, we definitely, when he came in and took over, there was a high with PS4. There was a high. They were riding out a really momentum with this huge amount of consoles that they sold, with the PS4 dominating the Xbox One. And they, did not take Xbox serious at all. And then, in 2017, Xbox puts out Game Pass, and no one even batted an eye. PlayStation kept doing what they're doing. We saw, what they did. And then here comes Xbox. They acquired 5 studios, and they were like, okay, what? Jim Ryan still's like, this is, what we've been doing. We're still just going to do it. Didn't have a plan set into place to combat what was going to happen in the next couple of years. And then boom, Xbox acquires Bethesda, and everybody, that just, social media just went insane, because that was like one of the biggest acquisitions that Xbox or anyone has done at that time. And it was massive, because it was Bethesda of all studios, and they still.
The thing is, like, Xbox, they fixed the problem where every couple of years, like, you had cycles of development. So like you would have like 5 years where games come out, and then you'd have like a 2 or 3 year lull period. Xbox has fixed that to where they don't have that anymore. PlayStation is still trying to fix that lull period where they put out 5 games, but over 5 years or whatever, and then they
didn't do anything at that point, right, at that moment. And Jim didn't have a plan set into motion, and what they were still they were not expecting Xbox to do anything. They were just going to be like, oh, Xbox just sat by the whole last generation, they're going to do the same thing with this generation, and that was not the case. Xbox,
I mean, he reacted. He started acquiring shit.
Smaller studios.
That's because what he can afford. PlayStation doesn't have $1 trillion. They can't go buy $75 billion.
Yeah, but they also had to trying to see what the competitor's doing. They see the competitor putting their games day and date. They're seeing their competitors day and date on PC, and they're trying to get into the mobile space, and they did not have a plan for that. They just don't have. And the 24 games that they have coming out, that's their pipeline of games. Half of that is games of service, and they've already canceled some of those. So now here comes ABK, and now that's a whole fucking shitstorm, because that's a huge revenue stream coming to PlayStation that they help fund their first party games that now they could possibly not going to get. So now it's panic mode for Jim to try to do something, and he's like, oh no, everything's cool. But then here's, as C Money said, here's the higher ups at Sony in Japan, like, no, we can't do that. You need to stop this deal, because we can't lose that income, because that was funding a lot of games, because they didn't put out a lot of games.
Yeah, I mean, it was a win-win scenario if they got it blocked or not, so he was going to fight for it anyway.
But they didn't have.
Well, it wasn't a win-win because they lost.
No, I'm saying if they
lost the deal,
there was no point of them sitting back and not trying to fight it, because they would win it either way if they blocked it. Or
no, because if they would have not fought it, Phil's deal was a better deal when it started. Jim signed a shitty deal at the end because he didn't have any choice. He didn't get anything else that he had offered. We saw the email. And then Phil Spencer offered him the world, and Jim said no. And at the end, all he got was Call of Duty, which he was going to always have Call of Duty. He was going to have everything else for 3 years or 7 years or some shit like that. Like, he was going to have more, and he doesn't anymore.
Yeah. And then that's the whole thing with, oh, we want Bethesda games. Like, no, we ain't playing that fucking game. That's not going to be, that's not on the table. So this is what you got, and this is what you're going to get.
We did wonder at the time if PlayStation fighting this so hard, it was going to come back to bite them. And I feel like, to an extent, it has come back to bite them somewhat 100%. because of the information that's come out, because of the black eye they kind of took a little bit. I understand that, like, they were willing to take it because they just wanted to try and get it blocked. And I mean, they even said so himself. He's like, you know what? All we want to do is block the deal. Like, we don't give a shit about signing something. They just, that's all they were going for. And maybe it was the pressure from the higher ups.
I think it was his fear, bro. It was his fear.
I will say,
what was coming.
I will say that we will see something from the FTC speak about Jim Ryan
we
leaving.
Had the FTC, or not the FTC, but we had the letter sent to Japan on behalf of Congress about the market share of gaming in Japan, right?
Yeah. I'm saying, like, the FTC coming in and saying something. Oh, look, this ABK deal is not right, because look, now Jim Ryan is retiring or losing his job. They're going to try to somehow spin this to try to be like a negative. Jim Ryan leaving is a negative because Xbox acquiring ABK, which is not the case. Jim Ryan just didn't put enough into what he could have been saying, hey, we need to go mobile. We kind of need to go day and date. And Japan's like, and the higher ups in Sony were like, no, we're not doing that. We've been successful not doing that. We don't need to go that route. And unfortunately, we will see Jim Ryan leave because he just couldn't stop the deal. And I think that Sony will eventually go day and date with PC, and possibly put games into their service sooner than later. So we could possibly get like 6 months if you have the, their top tier, we'll have like, the new game will be in their service in 6 months or something like that. And until it goes day and date, just because when you have games, as we know, we're going to talk about this, the player count for Xbox, when you have engagement by all these players playing your games consistently, that pays for your subscription service, that is sustainable income that you get, that it's guaranteed as long as your games, that you put out great quality games and things that they want to continue to play. These single play story games are great, but they're not going to sustain a subscription service like that, because you can't put a 10-hour, 15-hour game and once they're done, okay, what's next?
Yes.
Oh, I don't have nothing until a year from now, and it's Spider-Man 2. And it's like, okay, well, this ain't gonna work out. So I think it's a lot of bad management and focusing on the wrong things, and like just quickly
stupid
bit
controllers with the screen in it, like shit like
that bullshit. And everybody here would rather have a portable handheld than the stupid remote play controller screen. Then it's just I give me a portable. Give me a portable, because that is something that I'd rather have. Get rid of VR. VR is not there. I mean, look at MetaQuest 3 is gonna, all their cloud games are gonna be playable on the MetaQuest 3. So Xbox, all their cloud games are playable on the MetaQuest 3. And boom. So there's another however many gamers out there. So they have over 100 games ready to play on MetaQuest 3 via cloud. And that's insane.
I mean, you could play PlayStation games on there too, because all it is a screen like overlay. Like if you can buy a PlayStation game on Steam, you can play it on a MetaQuest, like because you just overlay your screen. So
yeah, it's different when it's dedicated though, Jasper.
It would be.
It's built.
I mean, you're just streaming your desktop to the screen.
It's a cloud gaming app, bro.
I know. I'm just saying, like, if you bought it on PlayStation on Steam, and
then there's Xbox's VR system. Here, you want to play Xbox games?
Jasper's being extra actually, guys.
Stream it to your MetaQuest 3, and that's the thing. Like Sony did this with their PSVR 2, and it maybe has sold 1 million units. I still have the 3 that been there for.
I mean, no one's buying a MetaQuest 3 because they can play Xbox Game Pass cloud games on a MetaQuest.
But it's an option, Jasper.
I don't know.
You don't have to buy a console
so that I can sit there and play cloud games on my MetaQuest.
MetaQuest 3 is still cheaper than the PSVR 2.
I could just sit down, put this shit on, and be anywhere and just play streaming my games. Hell yes.
Yeah, you're watching all the videos today.
Yeah,
that should look fire.
I see a PSVR 2 behind you, Doodle, as well.
That's because we have it. And we have Call of the whatever the hell the
Mountain Climber Simulator,
all the mountain shit that has not fucking been open. Like I didn't even turn it on. So I played. You know what I played? GT7, which was fun in VR. Yeah, but that's it. But I bought a bunch of games that I've never touched. 0 minutes.
It was a waste of like resources and time and effort
100%.
For PlayStation to get into.
You know what's fucked up? The headset is actually dope. Like it's high quality.
Yeah.
Like it's really, really a great headset.
Yeah.
It's just they ain't shit to play on it.
It should have been. It should have been. You should be able to play it on your PC.
Yeah.
If that right there, so you don't have to be tethered to your console. I get they kind of want to push consoles, but
that's their problem. Ultimately their console is going to be their downfall. Their desire to lock you into their own ecosystem because they're afraid that if you had access to anything out, you wouldn't choose them.
Yeah.
That's going to be their downfall unless they make those changes. Xbox, let's be real. They're running around with fucking humongous nutsacks because they're saying, you know what? Our games are good enough that if we put them in other places, people are going to play them. It's not because it's Xbox. It's because it's a great game.
Yeah.
PlayStation is so shackled to their console, just like Nintendo, right? The difference is that Nintendo fans show up. There's 120 million or however many Switches out in the wild, and their highest bought games have 50, 60 million copies sold, not 20.
Yeah, they also have more of a rotating, quicker output of content and stuff like that.
Exactly.
And they never give you a damn discount on anything.
That's because all the fucking Nintendo games are the same. They're just reskins. Here's a new fucking Mario. It's the same fucking level. We just added purple to it. It's cool.
You know what though? I played the shit out of that Mario versus me putting down God of War real quick.
What do you think
Mario Wonder's coming out. That looks so
I'm
good.
not disagreeing. I think Spider-Man's a terrible game.
Spider-Man 2 is going to be reskinned as the first one.
I got to get
with an extra burrow.
How that also shows you that PlayStation was in a kind of fucked up place? It's because they said, shit, Insomniac is the only developer that we can actually count on to deliver us some games. And they screwed Insomniac because Spider-Man 2 should have been a next-gen game. It should have been their showpiece to say, hey, look at what we can do. And what ultimately
you got two Spider-Man.
It should be.
You have two Spider-Man.
That game should have had fucking co-op.
And you might see them. You might see them. It's like, what the hell? You think we don't know that you could just randomly take a corner that we can't see and spawn Spider-Man and just, oh, look, there he is, as if he's just been swinging through the world this whole time.
GTA 5 did it on the 360.
Exactly. Better.
That's true.
Better.
That's very true. I got to get to some super chats. Some super chats, everybody.
Super chats.
Super chats. You guys all rock.
You need to make a jingle. Super chats.
Oh, that's the jingle right there, baby.
Super chats.
See that?
We're gonna get to the super chats. Tom,
there you go.
Wow.
With the $5 super chat. Appreciate you, Tom.
Super.
Says, I'll never forgive Bungie for turning Marathon into a live service. That's some deep-seated hate right there. You're talking about an old Apple IP back in the day made by Bungie, being upset about them making that a live service. That I haven't heard that one before, but appreciate.
I always look forward to Gummy Bears.
Yeah,
they're making that.
Then yeah, I got a question though. Will you forgive Halo for turning, or will you forgive 343 for turning Halo into a live service? Right. Marathon has like been a dead IP for a long time, right? So it's interesting to see that. But hey, if you love it, man, and you don't want it to change, ain't nothing wrong with that. Adidas 20 with the $5 super chat says, Sony ran out of money paying to block games off of Xbox. Now COD revenue going to Microsoft, and they will use it to dump more content into Game Pass. Appreciate you, Adidas. Then we got Jax82 with the $5 says, Ghostwire Tokyo and Deathloop and losing Starfield 1 year exclusive and losing Starfield to PlayStation, Phil had enough. Phil says, I'm going to start dropping off bags and I'm going to convince Satya to give them to me, basically, is what I think he did. Jigga J with the $2 says, Phil kicked Jim into the 300 pit. This is Xbox, bitch. Oh, shit. The 300 pit. Forte wants a link. Oh, shit. Should we get Forte a link?
Yeah.
If we give Forte a link, this
give Forte a link.
All it's going to turn into is you fucking slandering Nintendo, and he's going to have to defend it.
That's usually what happens. I think Doodle may take offense if I start slandering Nintendo as well.
I love Nintendo.
Yeah.
This is not the day to slander Nintendo.
Tom from Toonami with the $2 super chat says, Halo still had a campaign. Bungie can burn. I'm right on, Tom. Good point about the campaign. Yeah, I wasn't thinking about that aspect.
Yep.
Hold on here, Forte. I'm gonna get you in here, bro. In a minute. I gotta get a link. All right. Pong disappeared because, he's like, this is fucking stupid horse shit. What are we even talking about? Too good for this. No. But let's kind of move on a little bit from this, and I want to talk about player counts, right? Because that's a conversation that's been going on now, and Starfield was quick to hit over 10 million. We've had Forza Horizon 5, 32 million. Minecraft Dungeons, like we said, was just announced recently that it had over 25 million players. Even games like State of Decay that people say nobody plays is like over 10 million as well. And All these different franchises. Like I think Sea of Thieves is over like 30. Forza Horizon 5 is like
this
over
is
32.
You want to talk about unique player population, not live player population, I assume, right?
I'm talking about the unique player count.
Yeah, because
I'm not
live
talking about
population. Yeah,
I'm not talking about concurrent player count.
Yeah,
you know, that's always different. This is the amount of people who have played the game, which is how they judge a lot of the success for their games, right? And if the only way to play your game is by buying a disc, right, and putting it in a console, it does limit the amount of people that have access to it. Whereas the variety of methods to access a lot of these games, I think, has actually grown the player bases. Halo Infinite, it's over 20 million. Elder Scrolls, and shout out to Clobrel for posting this. Elder Scrolls Online's over 22 million. Fallout 76 over 15 million. Sea of Thieves over 30 million. Minecraft Dungeons over 25. Forza Horizon 5's 30 plus, 32 plus actually. State of Decay 2's over 11. Flight Sims over 12. 12 million people played Flight Sim. That's crazy.
It's a big deal.
Grounded, this little project from Obsidian that Xbox let them experiment with, has over 15 million players. Even Ghostwire Tokyo has over 6 million players on Xbox, and that was a year exclusive on PlayStation, right? Then also Starfield, 10 plus million. I wonder if the 6 plus million, is that for Ghostwire, is that including PlayStation players?
Possibly, yeah.
I think PlayStation only had like 1 million. I think it only sold like 1 million or so on PlayStation.
So forever I heard that Xbox people don't play games, Xbox people don't buy games, Xbox people, all this stuff, right? Like PlayStation sells games, all this. Here's the thing. Subscription service, cloud gaming, whatever, buying it on PC, whatever access, like we've said many years, Xbox doesn't give a shit how you access these games, right? It's if they're getting your money to access the games in whichever model that you decide to choose. But the player base matters. The player count matters because that's how they judge a lot of the engagement success on these games. And it seems like people are playing Xbox games more than they're playing PlayStation games.
The only pushback I would have on that is like you can have a game that reaches 30 million players. Like look at currently Diablo 4, they've lost 99% of their player population. Like that's a fact.
Yeah, that's fine.
And you have to maintain those players. Like you can get fucking 100 million players in, but if you have,
it depends on the kind of game it is too. Like Diablo 4 for sure, right? You want to. They know they're never gonna maintain the whole 30 million, right? Like at different times, but they're gonna grow. Different players get added over time and all that kind of stuff. But they want to
people had to pay to do it, right? As long as those however many millions paid that 1 month or did whatever, they paid to access it, just like a God of War or anything like that, right? Somebody paid to step into the door. The difference is that with Xbox games, there's a chance that they'll come back and spend more versus that God of War purchase is never bringing anything else back in because they're done with it.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's why they want to make more games of service, right?
But look at the diversity, though. That's the big. That is what you have to look at. You just listed, I don't know, 10 games, 12 games.
Yeah, it's
all
2,
of
3,
them.
4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 games.
11, right? 10, right between 10, 12, boom, 11, right? So all of them are different in some way, shape, or form. Yeah. Whereas what Sony has showed us of their games as a service plan, what is it? Take a gun, shooty, bang, bang, right? Fairhaven, the other crap that they showed us, I don't even, Marathon, all the same. This is why the idea of them sitting there making 10 or 12 is stupid, because they're making, 8 games that are going to be you holding a gun and go shoot or some way, form, or fashion, just like Helldivers, right? That's another one, right?
GT7 and MLB The Show.
Okay, so this is all very similar shit, right? So what's going to happen is that they're competing for the same players, right? So, okay, you're going to weed some out, but you spent all that money on those other games just to see them die because they picked the one that they like the most.
Exactly.
As opposed to investing in diversity, having cool shit to play that is not for everyone.
You got to cast a wide net, right? Like,
exactly.
There's certain, if you like look at it like fishing, right? Certain lures may be better at catching certain fish, right? If you keep using the same lure, you're going to be probably catching the same fish over and over again. But if you cast a wide net or whatever, you're going to be potentially, you know, now you could have a badass lore, right? And get a really badass, you know, like awesome thing that's great at it and does it very consistently and successfully, right? But you're always going to maintain that same level of success, right? So growing beyond that, you have to have more variety. And that's something Xbox has done. To Jasper's credit, PlayStation is trying to do that now, right? Like we see that based on the steps.
Not diverse though.
Well, like it's
more of the same stuff.
Different.
That's the problem.
Right.
They should have picked one or two games to go ahead and make them well, and then invest that money on other types of games so that it is diverse for players to come in. As you said, C-Money, everybody's going to pick one, right?
Yep.
And
absolutely.
then what?
And the other thing to look at it, they're telling you that they're not going to put any more effort into those other games once they have a winner. They're saying that they're just making all this stuff, but they're not going to keep investing in the other ones. Why? To take away from the one that's actually winning?
It's such a waste of money.
It's a similar type of game. Yeah. It's just, if they were serious about doing this, Microsoft didn't say, let me go make 48 fucking games of service. They had studios who were passionate about what they were doing. Rare wanted to make Sea of Thieves. Microsoft did not walk into Rare and say, yo, get a boat, get some pirates, make that game, right? That's not what took place here, right? And that's what's the same thing that happened to their other successes. Grounded was a mockery. Do you remember when that shit was announced? What people were talking about when they first showed that game?
Honey,
people were mocking it.
Like, yeah,
they were mocking it. This is your big game. This is what the purchase got you. Yeah, bitch. How many players are on there right now?
I think that one's over 15 mil.
15 million players. That's what it got us. That's what it got us. Our little tiny baby game got us 15 million players. Your big ass God of War got you 20 something. Come on, man. Well, what are we comparing here?
I feel like that's what PlayStation sees and they're trying to get to. But like I've said this before. I don't have faith in them if the games stumble out of the gate to keep supporting them. Like Xbox, if something stumbles, they're gonna keep continuing the support of it.
And that's part of why Bungie's there, is to make sure they don't stumble out the gate as bad as they would if they didn't have Bungie.
But Bungie, I have faith in Bungie's game. I don't have faith in Concord or Fair Games and all those other things, right? So we'll see what their investment is and how successful they are with it. But at the end of the day, like we all keep saying, like Sony.
I honestly don't have faith in Bungie anymore. But
well, yeah, that's true. I know you don't.
I mean, Bungie did not just make Destiny and it was like, look, we're popping, right? They made Destiny. They got shit scores when they first came out. They dropped Dinkley, whatever. They had to recast the character because people hated him. They had to keep working and working and working and working. They did not get it right. They got to where they are through trial and error on a constant basis. And even till today, they can come out with something new and people hate it. It's just what happens. So how can they guide PlayStation when they're just throwing shit on the wall and seeing what sticks too, bro?
It's like if you're asking your kids, how should we do this? Like, PlayStation should have a plan. They should be the ones figuring this out and driving the freaking car.
Like, how are they letting a game company
tell them what to do?
Tell them how to run their business. Their business is a different business altogether.
And they're not in. They shouldn't be in the business.
Yeah, I mean, PlayStation needs to be in the business because we need them to be for their
are that
competition
desperate
stage.
Where you're going to Bungie so that they can tell you what to do. Come on, you gotta reevaluate your situation.
Okay, yeah. Well, they need a hero, someone to do it.
To the point,
a hero to save the day.
They didn't have any experience.
Adam Sandler, come on, you knew
you two are cute.
How did you not just start on that song, Mav? You said Adam Sandler was your favorite.
He lied.
No, he lied. I wasn't paying attention. I was lost in my thought. What song?
God damn it,
man!
You let us down, Mav. For some Adam Sandler, and you let us down. God damn it!
I'm heartbroken.
I feel like a failure right now.
You should not be able to get sleep.
This is
tonight,
just a long list of failures now, Mav.
What song, building up, bro? What song was it that you were singing?
You didn't 100% fresh or 100% fresh his
Netflix
concert. that's like that funny.
Yeah. Okay.
All the songs.
Yeah.
And one of the songs is that
you didn't hear that.
Oh, you gotta watch it if you didn't.
Yeah, I watched the first. I watched his Netflix special. I remember the Chris Farley song.
Yes.
Yeah,
oh my God, that was so good. So
it was
touching.
actually a really good song. That was a really good song.
Yeah.
But the hero song, it's gonna matter now.
Oh my God, the Candy song.
So
I think I have diabetes.
I remember, like, if you go back to the Adam Sandler tapes from like high school, I remember all that shit. Like, a regular Roger Staubach.
Excuses.
All right. Pong Soul, what were you about to say? You were about to chime in here.
Yeah, no, I love having big talkers on the show all the time. And Jasper's got an extra couple quarters in him tonight, which is fantastic. It's absolutely incredible. No, I've just been taking it all in and listening. There's a lot of great points going on here. Again, I just wanted to say that I guess there was so many points along the way here, but why they went after Bungie is because they do realize their weakness.
Right.
And it's easy to say, well, reevaluate your business. Well, that's what they did. And they had to take a shortcut because they don't have the time to develop what Microsoft and Xbox have been developing on their side for a very long time. And that is the shining or the brightest difference between the two companies is the difference. As much as Sony has had these Game of the Year single player games forever, Microsoft has continued to be the place, at least for first party, for multiplayer games, right? And that's something that they have expertise in. They have multiple studios that do know how to make multiplayer games in all different forms and fashions, and that's shining through. And they happen to acquire in Rare and Obsidian, maybe two companies that weren't necessarily known for that, but now they've proven themselves to be able to make a games as a service, right? Whereas Sony didn't have any of that. Once again, resting on their laurels, once again, buying into third-party titles to fill gaps that they didn't have in their lineup. That's what it gets you. It creates weaknesses, right? There's kinks in that armor, right? That they realized. And I think that's why they had to go and be desperate and grab somebody like Bungie to try to help them find the roadmap. And this is not speculation. These are in interviews. This is exactly why Jim claims in his eyes that Bungie is more valuable at their $3 billion price point than ABK will ever be for Microsoft at $70 billion. Now we can all sit here and laugh. It's ridiculous.
That's some dumbass shit to say.
But that's
also gone.
Right. But that tells you the mindset, right? That tells you the philosophy of what he saw as a major weak spot. And he knew he had to take some shortcuts to try to gain ground because they can't sit around and try to build. Again, we've heard these stupid ass arguments from everybody on the other side saying, why doesn't Microsoft just build all their own studios organically and just create new IP and just do it the way Sony did?
Yeah, well, Sony didn't do that.
It doesn't work. Right. They didn't. And we all know this. But the fact is that can't be used for Sony either, because it's not that simple. You can't just go build a studio and say, hey, we need you guys to really get up to speed and get an expertise in games as a service. No, you got to take the shortcut and you got to go find somebody that you believe has expertise in that area, bring them underneath the umbrella and say, help us, right? That's what they're doing with Bungie. Now, whether that turns out to be the right deal or not, well, we're not going to know for a while, right? We're not going to see fruits from that for a while. What we have seen is them have that power to walk into Sony, and we've heard there's some friction between them and Naughty Dog because Bungie was allowed to walk in and say, your factions sucks. So don't put this out because it's not going to be long. Right. With Naughty Dog, the kings of PlayStation, right?
Yep.
The kings of a lot of gaming.
Right, you know right. Considered one of the best devs in the world, right? By a lot of people. So the fact that Sony did allow that, the fact that Jim did allow this to happen and greenlit this whole thing does show you the desperation. But I understand why they did it, and I understand what the shortcut is that they're trying to get. Again, whether or not it all works out, we're going to have to wait and see. And ultimately, a lot of this conversation right now, in a lot of the talk, I hear the talking points. Again, we've talked this to death through the past 3 years as to once Microsoft and Xbox get rolling, once and this was prior to ABK, once these all these studios
to match,
they can't match the output that Microsoft and Xbox are going to do, right? They can't. And right now, the problem also is we see Xbox finally starting to get to that point where we can see a clear roadmap where Phil's out here confidently saying 1 per quarter, no problem, I got it. We're on the opposite side of Sony. Sony had the roadmap, and now it's a wasteland. Now we don't know what the studios, just like Xbox and all the acquisitions when people were like, where are the games? What are they doing over there? Where are the games? Well, yeah, but they're not sitting there twiddling their thumbs, right? They're not sitting there answering phones. They are making games. But until we can see the roadmap, it is very hard right now to envision what they could possibly have. But I do think that most of their first party studios have proven themselves to be able to put out quality content. And most of their studios have been growing as well. And a lot of them are working on 2+ projects. We eventually will get that. But a lot of this right now, a lot of this conversation is coming from the fact that we don't know.
Yeah.
And we don't know what it's going to look like. We don't know anything outside of the games as a service. And again, games as a service can be cool, but let's be real. Games as a service announced as pure GAAS, right? Don't really excite a whole lot of people. Mm-hmm. And that is also Sony's problem, which we've talked about. They've cultivated a fan base and trained that fan base to think that there is only one type of game that is a premium experience. That I'm talking about their hardcore fan base. Nintendo's trained their fan base to think that only Nintendo first party, which there's a lot of it, is the premium experience. And you see Nintendo fans don't buy a whole lot of third party. Sony's got a problem because they just don't have the diverse lineup, and they've trained these people to think single player experiences are the best experiences on the planet, and anything else gets side-eyed. And so they're going to have to overcome that. And to Jasper's point, I do believe they are diversifying their lineup. I do think that they are doing what's necessary with what they have, because again, they don't have the resources of a Microsoft to quickly flip that switch and say, we're going to make 6 different genres of games right now. We're going to go buy 20 studios and we're going to be set. They can't do that. So with what they've got, I do believe they're trying. Now, ultimately, whether or not that's enough, we won't know. The thing they do have, the biggest advantage they have, and it's a large one, is brand loyalty. And they can weather this storm if they can figure it out on the other side and they can get through it. They're going to be fine. They're not going to collapse. They're not going to, again, shout out to King David. I know he's got his thing. They're not going to become an app. They are going to have a PlayStation 6. I would be shocked if they don't. Whether or not it's enough to survive, or if Microsoft eventually just overwhelms them, because not only are they putting out a lot of content, but they're putting out quality content. Yep. If that does happen, they certainly could be overwhelmed and be in a weird position where they have to decide what they're going to do. But I think right now they do have that brand loyalty. They're selling PlayStation 5s like crazy still to this day without a roadmap, because again, the wider audience doesn't give a shit about that. Like you've all said, it's where all my friends are playing.
It's the default box to buy a game console if you don't know anything about
But
gaming.
They are in trouble. And I think that's why we are seeing the desperation moves that we have seen. And you're all right about that. There are some crazy desperation moves going on because Jim looked over and said, oh, we're in trouble, guys. We're in trouble. We're going to be reloading. Microsoft's going to start to peak or start getting going. Yeah. And we don't have anything here.
And we're going to talk like the thumbnails about Xbox's 2024 lineup, right? And like we're going to talk about that at some point here too, because the train is rolling, right? But real quick to get to some super chats, and I got to bring Forte into this as well. So we got Chris Jones, member for 13 months, said, you started main quest in Starfield yet, Pong?
No, I have not. Everybody's still back at Constellation headquarters at the lodge. Yeah. They're all sitting there waiting for me to come back and save the world or find out what's out there, whatever it is.
Chris Jones.
We'll never know, apparently.
Not my universe.
Chris Jones again says, oh, wait, no, sorry. Wrong one. Anonymous Boss, member for 4 months, says, sup, everyone. I can't agree more with Pong here. And then another $5 super chat from Anonymous Boss says, facts. Sony has some very strong first-party games like God of War and Spider-Man, though they lack what Microsoft has, good multiplayer expertise. Facts. Appreciate you guys. Gaming Forte. I can just imagine
Oh Lord,
that
what's
there
up?
was something that somebody said that prompted you to say, "Hey, Mav, send me a link." And also, Forte, Nintendo
did say Nintendo.
Nintendo Switch sucks. Now, welcome to the
Not nice
show, Forte.
Listen,
appreciate you being here.
Well, listen, I'm not here to fight with you about Nintendo. I'm not going to do that today. I mean, it's only one of the the best.
Here we go.
With a game.
You got a Zelda.
Game.
Let's go.
Game of the year type
yes.
games that we got. We also got little mascots called Yoshi.
Yeah, baby.
And little gaming watches called Legend of Zelda. We got all types of stuff over here.
Are you like 12 years old?
Yeah.
Listen, first of all, look at that wall.
That looks like a toga. Now
you see that wall?
No, that's a fabric.
Yeah, I see the wall. What do you do with the wall? What do you do with that wall?
There's also a wall over there with a Master Chief helmet and
there we go.
Some Halo 5 stuff. It's stuff all over the place.
I like your LED.
I
wall
love
back
it.
there. That's sick.
Yeah,
is that like a projector or is that something on the wall?
It's a curtain light.
Oh, okay.
Oh, I like that.
That's dope.
Yeah, it's a curtain light. It's pretty cool. There's two of them. I can put an Xbox logo on it if I want to.
Is this what you came here to do? Brag about your room?
Show and tell.
That's right.
It's a dope room.
Listen, everybody's seen.
Show it off.
Listen, everybody's seen this at this point. It's been shown for a while now. But no, I just came here because I was actually editing our new intro for the year. So you guys are always live when I'm doing it. So I was like, I'll just jump in there. So that was it. I wasn't doing anything.
Well, we're happy that you're here.
Yeah.
But y'all make some real interesting points about all this stuff, though.
Yeah,
real interesting points.
Yeah, I mean, it's a conversation.
The Xbox side is coming through and through, and this.
Yeah,
right,
I love y'all though, but no, I think if I just had to talk, let's see. Pong is actually right about a lot of different things when it comes to the stuff he was saying. I think it just ultimately comes down to I don't feel like Jim was pushed out the door. I think he kind of sees the writing on the wall at this point. A lot of people don't think about it from this angle. Remember when we were talking about, 2020, 2021, when Xbox ain't have anything and everybody was like, Xbox Series S and X ain't got no games coming out. And we kept saying, well, dude, listen, they literally just went through a pandemic. And everybody was like, well, PlayStation released a bunch of games and that didn't hurt their first party developers. And I was like, oh, wait. We'll see. You'll see it happen sooner or later. And guess what? We're there. That's where we are right now. Xbox finally has weathered that storm, and you're starting to see the release cadence for their games. You're getting dates for a lot of the games that's releasing. And PlayStation pretty much did the same thing that Xbox did at the Xbox One generation, where Xbox One released with a bunch of games. Then we went through like a good year and a half where there was like very little. And then PlayStation came, and then PlayStation had a bunch of games because remember their first party was like very stagnant at the beginning of the PS4 generation. So it's like they did the complete opposite. They said, we're going to have a bunch of games. They had all their games released in the first year and a half. Now, all of those studios are in the process of making new games again. And what was their counter to that? Well, Jim Ryan decided to go out and spend $3.6 billion on Bungie and said, we got to find a way to make this money work.
Yeah.
And that's kind of what happened. So now they're in this holding pattern where they're looking at like, okay, first party is going to take a while. We don't, the only other game we know on the horizon other than the stuff they just announced in their last showcase was basically Wolverine when it comes to like the single player traditional games that they normally do. So we don't know anything past that. And that's what's frustrating a lot of people on the PlayStation.
That's my point. Forte, like,
yeah,
I personally, but with the lineup that I know of, I've never been less excited for PlayStation games. Right?
Yeah, the thing, nobody knows what's coming right now, and that's the frustrating side of it. But I also it comes back to the fact that they need to weather the next year to 2 years with minimum launches, because guess what? Their games are going to be for the next couple of years. These game as a service games that's coming out. And they're hoping that some of that stuff hits so they can start, gradually, getting back to where they want to. Because the thing about PlayStation is once they start releasing their first party titles and those games that everybody loves to buy on that system, they'll be perfectly fine. Right now, they're just going through a drought where they ain't got nothing. The reason you ain't seen it is because they ain't got nothing to show you. There's nothing out there. Nobody's ready to show any games. I mean, the fact that Bungie basically came in and told Naughty Dog, like, yo, junk ain't good enough, go back into the kitchen. And I find it hilarious because, Bungie's Bungie. But there's a lot of different ways you can kind of look at it. I just think I'm about to call him Phil Spencer. I think Jim Ryan just decided that, listen, getting too old for this. It's 30 years in. I think it's time for me to get out while PlayStation is still doing really well. And I can write up, because right now we said it at the beginning of this year. This is Jim Ryan's PlayStation now. All of those games, all of the stuff that happened with the PS5, that was all set in circulation by Sean Layton. Yeah. By Sean Layton and everybody. So the blueprint was already there. He just had to fulfill the blueprint and basically make tweaks and changes along the way through 2023. Now it's all his vision now. So what is the next 3 years of PlayStation going to look like? That's where we are right now. And a lot of people don't like it because they don't know what's on the horizon. As with Xbox, they're hitting them everywhere. They're hitting them. Call of Duty is literally going to be their competitors on their competitors' platform, and they won't even have the exclusive rights to the marketing anymore, which is huge for them. We know Call of Duty brings in anywhere from $5 to $6 billion annually, and they got 70% of that, literally, because they sold that much more on the PlayStation. That's not something that's going to happen in the near future. So now they got to find a way to offset that. And then I forget who said it on here. I know they had to fight this, but they got a terrible deal out of this in the end. They pretty much had everything that Activision had and everything Activision Blizzard had at the beginning, but they sacrificed that to basically say, we want to go after this deal and stop it.
There was a point in time, Forte, I don't want to interrupt you, but we talked about it at that moment in time, right? We talked about leverage, right? We said, it's on Xbox Ultimate or PM. I don't remember what show we were talking about. Right now, PlayStation has more leverage than they ever will have during this, because it felt like Xbox was going to win down the line with the FTC and all that stuff. But at the time, there was like more talks about all these things, and this is when Jim was like saying, we just want to block and stuff. And it was like saying, that's so stupid, because at that moment in time, they had the most leverage they would have ever had. They could have gotten a better sweetheart deal from Xbox, and them choosing to be stubborn and let it keep going, they lost all leverage, and they just got what everybody else got at the end of the day.
Well, right? I will say this though, they ain't gonna be missing games like Diablo and stuff like that. Maybe Doom. No, maybe Doom a little bit, because Doom is like more of a shooter that they don't have on that platform, and that stuff's probably most likely gonna be exclusive to the place. Anyway, so yeah, and plus they lost Bethesda, so I think they knew that they knew Call of Duty wasn't going anywhere, so they probably did the numbers and say, listen, all the other games we can care less about. Yeah, they do matter, but do they matter as much as Call of Duty? If we could block this whole thing and get Call of Duty not to happen the way they wanted to, we could kind of live with that.
And they already got Overwatch. That's going to be a 10-year game. They got Diablo 4 just launched, so they got all the big games already.
Yeah, they got all the big games. So it's the next cycle of games that and they don't even know what those next cycle of games are, so they don't really care. They just cared about Call of Duty. So I do agree that they did have a better deal, but I mean, listen, Jim Ryan was the CFO of the company. One of the most profitable regions, is the reason he became CFO, is because he was the head of the European market, and the European market literally was the most profitable thing during the PlayStation 4 generation. And that's why they moved him up into that position. And let's be for real, if it wasn't, they had the perfect person in position when the whole pandemic happened, because everybody had to constrain and basically say, what do we need to do to maximize profit and sales? Because guess what everybody's doing right now? I can only imagine what would have happened if PlayStation didn't release all of those first-party games over the first couple of years, because a lot of people say they should have like spreaded it out. But all of these companies right now are trying to recoup lost revenue from 2 years ago that they never got, that they'll never get back, and they're trying to get it back now. So I think that's why they kind of focus really hard to make back as much money. That's why you heard Jim Ryan come out in that press statement say we're gonna maximize and get as many people over to PS5 as possible. But once that didn't happen, because number one thing was because they were supply restraint, that's when they pivoted and was like, listen, we ain't gonna have enough systems out there. So now we got to start bringing all this stuff to PS4, which I thought was always in the plan. They just decided to do it quicker than they normally probably would have. And Jim Ryan did what he was supposed to do. He was a stopgap, basically, to get them through that. And now it's time for somebody else to take over. The problem is they have no succession plan right now. Right now,
because it wasn't part of the plan.
Yeah, because this wasn't part of the plan. That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm telling you. Jim Ryan decided to leave while the getting was good. And he was like, I'm out.
He saw the road ahead of the couple.
He saw the road ahead.
Yeah.
He saw the
gravel ahead.
Yeah, he
saw. They ain't got a road.
Yeah, why you're
this
talking
is
about
dirt, grass, and gravel.
Right. You're talking about a platform in Nintendo that might actually have a powerful system next generation.
Facts.
Think about that.
Oh, I'm so excited instead of that piece of shit Forte. Oh, I can't wait to get rid of it.
Guess what? You'll be the first one in line to buy one if that thing is anything like a ROG Ally.
If it's like half as powerful as current gen consoles, I'll be like sitting there like, yay, finally gonna get my fucking good Nintendo. It's been so damn long.
But just get native 1080p.
But just to be real with you,
read words on my big screen. It's gonna be fucking incredible.
But just to be real with you, Mav, I love you, man. You make me laugh every time you do it. That's what fuels me. Even though I'm not the biggest Nintendo fan, I like to do it because a lot of people like try to downplay them, and I'm like, dude, you are literally downplaying the console that's about to be the most highest selling console of all time in the next 2 years.
It's a handheld. You look at it, DS sold more. Just saying.
That thing hater.
Doesn't that thing hook up to, wait, Matt, doesn't that thing hook up to a TV?
So does my phone.
Yeah.
No, your phone doesn't. You got
more haters.
You got to buy an external thing to make it hook up to your TV, right?
No, I
can use it.
No, I can do share.
Yeah. No, listen, we're talking about no latency, sir.
Yeah.
Y'all be the first ones to be gamers to say I don't play with latency.
No latency. Meanwhile, Nintendo is 16.
Now y'all gonna hear me talk about my mobile
latency?
phone.
The Switch has built-in fucking latency because it's so weak that when you hit left or right, even in the menus, it takes like half a second just to fucking move the box over, bro. You hit left or right on that shit, it's like, oop. Boop! Oh, there it goes. Yeah, now I'll hit A. Yeah,
listen. I'll tell you right now, both Xbox and PlayStation fucking wish they made that goddamn Switch.
Exactly.
So you can talk as much shit about it as you want. But Phil Spencer will be like, yo, you want to Switch today? Come on. Take my Xbox, baby. Give me that Switch.
I agree.
I'll swap numbers with
you.
They
wish they could say they had a game that sold 158 million that they literally repackaged and sold to people 3 times over.
Exactly.
I it's selling so well though because it's a handheld.
It's selling so well because it's Nintendo.
It's Nintendo.
Well, they combine both.
It's markets. Nintendo. It's the name.
They
guess what, Mav?
Markets into one. They've always.
The Wii U didn't sell like shit.
And guess what, Mav? The first system you'll buy.
That was bad marketing.
And guess what, Mav? As soon as you and your wife,
the Wii U was
they sold cardboard.
Yeah, the Wii U. I had so much fun playing that.
They sold cardboard.
They sold cardboard. No other company could ever claim to do that.
Cardboard.
That's a hustler right the fuck there. I'll tell you that much.
Well, not everything Nintendo always is a huge. GameCube was. They didn't see it as a success. They saw other consoles as a failure. So, but they have achieved this, right? Like I love Nintendo. I just want there to be a console. That's all. I just want people to think how many consoles, how many publishers or developers are going to cut bait on a system 3 years in and say, "Yep, we're going to start over." Yeah, I can't wait for this Switch 2, bro. I can't wait. And I just know that everybody on this panel, if they have kids, the first system they're going to buy their kid is a Nintendo system.
Oh, yeah, not me. Thank you.
iPhone,
iPad.
My kid was playing Call of Duty at age 5. Thank you.
Yeah, I tried to get my daughter
Call of Duty used to be on Nintendo.
Were they playing the PG version?
No, I just didn't let him on. I just didn't let him get the headset on. That's all.
Oh, look,
I played GTA when I was like 5.
You didn't even give him the full experience.
Oh, he didn't need that experience, brother. You know that.
You didn't let them experience all the racism and
motherfuckers
in the world.
Mom, Dad, am I a racist? Somebody told me I'm a racist. What does that mean?
Some kid told me about making cakes on the couch. What is that?
Mom, someone told me that you were fucking him on Xbox
Live. Mom, there's a guy named Psychonauts who keeps talking about doing drugs.
Oh my God, that's crazy. But we need to leave them alone, man. We need to talk about all this stuff that Xbox got planned for us over the next couple of years. It's gonna be great, bro.
We got 2024 is gonna be incredible. Not only will we have that new Switch that I'm gonna be super excited about, but we will have Xbox has a great lineup. I mean, still got more games this year. We have Forza Motorsport still coming for first party. Announced games right now for Xbox first party. We have a new flight sim next year. There's Avowed next year. There's Hellblade 2. And there was another one that I was looking at too.
Just so you know, I got to leave in 15.
Okay,
so you know.
Cool, man.
Right.
Thanks.
Yeah.
I'll get to you first on this then, because you could probably rant for 15 about this, right? 2024, like we talk about maybe Jim saw the writing on the wall, all that stuff, right? About this content pipeline for Xbox, as amazing as 2023 is, it's not stopping. It's rolling right into 2024 with currently 4 announced games that are pretty hyped. People are starting to get excited for a lot of these games. Some of them have already had what the hell? Does Yoshi just come and attack Forte?
Yoshi just took off, yo.
Yoshi just attacked Forte.
Listen. Come here.
And you love Nintendo?
Everybody wants to say hi.
And you love Nintendo?
I just got attacked by a Yoshi.
You just got attacked by Yoshi. You're sitting there praising them, and they're sitting there like flying at your head. Literally, I feel like this pipeline, I don't see an end in sight for the amount of games that Xbox has in the works. And this is without ABK right now being included in that first party. So even with 4 now, and we can imagine that next year there's going to be other games get announced for 2024 for Xbox. I mean, this year alone, we got 3 shadow drops, 3 at different showcases for Xbox. Stuff they had as bad as things were in 2022 for Xbox, as much shit as they were taking for not having games, all these other things, they had some shit in their pocket that they still felt like, we're going to still hold on to this stuff. They could have tried to say, well, we got this game in Hi-Fi Rush in January. You're not going to have to wait that long for a first party game. Instead, they still took the hits, took the criticism, and then just shadow dropped it on all our asses at the Dev Direct to make that show better. And I think it was the right decision. That show ended up being even better because we had that game, right? So we know they're willing to do things like that. They already got a great announced pipeline for next year. And then all the other games that were just starting to get announced for Game Pass Day 1 as well, like some of these Japanese games and stuff like that. Pong Soul pipeline for 2024, is it actually potentially even stronger than this year? But I know Starfield bias for us is going to take this out of the picture. But besides that, I'm talking about maybe like the overall number of quality games, right?
Absolutely.
Next year.
Yeah, absolutely. It's insane. Let me just run down this quick list. And this is an older list of Game Pass games we already know about for next year. 33, not all these are going to be obviously first party or exclusive, but it doesn't matter. It's Game Passes. So that effect. 33 Immortals, Persona 3 Reload, Still Wakes the Deeps, Flintlock, Everspace 2, Age of Empire. Well, we already know we got Age of Empires 4, Age of Mythology, potentially, Ara, History Untold, Avowed, Bounty Star, Bushiden, Cocoon just came out, Dungeon of Hinterberg, Dungeons 4, Ayuden Chronicles, 100 Heroes, Ereban, Shadow Legacy, Flock, Frog Detective, Hollow Knight, Silk Song, Humankind, Lightyear Frontier, Mad Streets, Maquette, Marauders, new Microsoft Flight Simulator, Pigeon Simulator, Replaced, Routine, Hellblade 2, She Dreams Elsewhere, Solar Ash, Spirit Tea, Stalker 2, Towerborn, Thirsty Suitors, Turnip Boy, Warhammer 40,000, Darktide, Way to the Woods. That's just an incomplete list.
Christ.
That's just an incomplete
That's
list.
just Game Pass day one.
That's just stuff that we've been announced. That's just stuff that we don't even know about.
Wow.
We're going to hear about Indiana Jones next year.
Indiana Jones,
that potentially, if it is a smaller
game, that could be the holiday game next year.
That could be the holiday game next year, right? So, yes, next year alone, and let's just in general too for the gaming industry. We already talked about this. It could rival this year, next year. Now, obviously, we'll find out as quality and all that kind of stuff, because this year has been ridiculous, not only with the amount of games, not only with the big games, but the in-between games have been nothing but high quality as well. So we'll see next year. But yes,
because I would say that this year kind of started off rough with quality.
I don't think so.
No, I had one.
Like you had
are you talking about performance quality, or are you talking about the quality of the?
No, you're talking about Xbox games.
Yo, I'm talking about in general. I thought the beginning of the year we had like Dead Island 2, we had Hogwarts Legacy, both were excellent.
That was so good. It was beautiful.
The overall conversation I got from it was like a lot of PC games, especially PC ports, like the quality was really downhill this year.
Sure. There was some of that, Jasper, PC, but that more says about the quantity too that came out this year, because if you look back at the beginning of the year, but the second half of the year especially. So, how it all fleshes out that this was an overall, if you look at score wise, if you look at general consensus, amazing freaking year, probably one of the GOATs of all time.
Yeah,
but anyways,
Zelda,
exactly. This second half is undeniable what we're getting. But Xbox next year, the avalanche that started with Starfield, we had hoped obviously it was going to start earlier than this. It didn't. But we all believe, at least most of us here that we've talked about this, believe that Starfield is the start. This was the mark of the next iteration of Xbox going forward, because this is where all these acquisitions really start to showcase and start showing out. We've had bits and pieces here, we've had some failures here and there. This is where that cadence starts, and the avalanche, once it starts, there's no stopping it. Because the lineup, now we're hearing about possibly, stated K3 for 2026, 2027, like their roadmap, all the way. Coalition supposedly got another unannounced IP. We don't know if that's Gears 6 in 2026. So for the next 2 to 3 years at least, the roadmap for Xbox, just of what we know, is a game per quarter, and probably will wind up some years having 7 games come out of first party in a year, 8 games come out of first party in a year, when you start calling the small stuff that shows up, and first party publishing. So Xbox's avalanche is beginning. 2024 is going to be overall, again, just off of what we know, a big giant year for Xbox. They are not going to have any real big, again, cross our fingers, pauses in that lineup coming out. Every month to 2 months, we're going to have another game. It's like, oh my God, Xbox is dropping another game. It's going to be constantly in the news. They're going to have more showcases next year. Yeah. They're going to use what they've learned from this year going into next year, and they found the formula, Mav, with their direct. I think we can say that for a fact right now, between the beginning of the year direct and then the Starfield direct. They've locked that in, and that's going to be a powerful key to them and getting the word out about those games.
When that word, like Xbox Direct or whatever, it's going to start. It's really going to start to mean something.
Correct. It already did. It already did. It already does now, because the next time they announce that direct, people are going to be like, oh, I got to show up, because they shadow dropped Hi-Fi Rush in the middle of a direct. Not that they're going to do that all the time, but that's how you generate that interest. That's something we always talked about. But Xbox in 2024 is unstoppable. Okay. Now, again, it depends on how these games come out, but we've got to assume that they've learned their lessons. We've got to assume from them giving Starfield an extra year that they now understand that quality has to be there. It can't just be quantity all the time, that's not going to do it. So if you're Avoweds, if you're Hellblades 2s, if these games coming out, maybe we get a Contraband next year, which has been in hiding for a while now again too. If we get those games and they're all in that quality mode, then yes, you're looking at another Publisher of the Year award potentially for Xbox. You're looking for accolades to start to turn. This is the moment that we started talking about, where you go back and start grabbing mind share again, because it's out in the open now. Game Pass stagnated. Okay. That's because last year sucked. Okay. Last year sucked. There's no way about it. Phil said it in multiple emails. He said it in interviews. Last year was shit. Okay. It stalled them out, but they're going to start that excitement again. They're going to start that generating that excitement. Why? Because people are always going to be talking about what's coming next from Xbox. There's not going to be like a break of a year again. There's not going to be a break of 6 months. It's constantly going to be like, oh, Xbox got another game coming out from first party. Holy cow. Did you see the Game Pass games they just dropped into Game Pass this past month? That's what it's going to be constantly. We're going to be in that news cycle that we kind of were in 2021, where we were talking about it constantly. Xbox was constantly doing something. That's where they're going to be now for the next 2 to 3 years. Next year looks to be gigantic. It has to be big. They have to hit it out of the park next year. The end of this year, into next year. If they continue this trend, that's when Game Pass starts to gain momentum again. That's when the hype train starts to roll back up again outside of us, right? Obviously, we've all been hyped for a long time, but that's where it starts to get in that mainstream area where people are talking about Xbox and saying, oh my God, did you go play this new game? Did you go do this? Did you go try it out? That's when you can start to see that shift. And again, it's not going to be all at one time. It's a slow go. I think they're building towards next gen where they can really make their mark. But I think 2024 is going to be a high watermark for Xbox as far as the past 5-10 years has been. I think 2024 could be the big one.
Yeah,
I really do.
That's great thoughts, especially like if PlayStation has not a big exciting lineup for next year right now. You know what I mean? Independently of that, like I feel like as far as mindshare and conversation changing, that can have an impact, right? I like it's going to be interesting.
Other Zinc, buddy, you've been listening to me for long enough. We're not talking PlayStation, you know that. We're talking Xbox here. PlayStation has massive issues, and that's what we just got done talking about. Is it doesn't look good for them. PlayStation Plus is a completely different product than Game Pass. Game Pass is the vehicle for Xbox. They've said it many, many, many times, and you know this, sir, that Xbox is heavy into Game Pass, and they want to see those subscribers increase. And what I'm saying is this lineup is going to start to do that. I could care less what happens to PS Plus until they tell me they're going to start putting games in there day and date, or maybe even 3-6 months out. That's the only time they're going to gain relevancy outside of their main fan base with PS Plus. Game Pass is the king of subscription services, and they want to see it grow. And I'm saying that lineup that we're starting to see is going to make that happen.
Hey, right, the dirt off your shoulder.
Xbox has positioned themselves in a place where they can now, like, they wouldn't have a problem anymore if anything has to be delayed. Those games will still keep on rolling in because they bought so many studios and they're working on so much that we're never going to be hungry for games. You know what I'm saying? We're not going to be thirsty out here.
That's a good point. Like if they do have an L, right, it won't have the impact that it did like before.
Exactly. We won't even notice it.
And they're not.
I gotta get out of here, guys. I love you all. Thank you, Doodle.
This has
Money.
been awesome.
It was great. Forte. It was awesome to be here with all of you. Appreciate you all, and we'll talk to y'all real soon. Later, chat.
Take it easy, bro. Have a
Take
good
care,
one.
Paul.
Yep.
Peace, bro. But yeah, they're not done, dude.
His new
like
record,
that's the
shortest
crazy
outro.
part.
It was. That's funny. Say, what are you saying, C-Money?
No, I was just saying that like Xbox they're not even done buying. Like they've already said this. So it's like the onslaught is not just with the games that they're continuing to develop and bring into the fold, but they're gonna go buy more studios and even add more.
Yeah, and news cycles wise, C-Money, that adds because the things that they've been doing these last several years have been without that pipeline. So the conversation has been about the future. Oh, this is gonna be amazing in the future. But when we're already seeing the results and we actually have this pipeline, and then people are and then they're adding more, it's like, oh, there's more respect about what that can mean from the casual audience and all these other people, because it's like, oh, we're going to get more of this kind of stuff that's already awesome. Oh, this is amazing. I keep giving it to me. Buy everything. I don't fucking care. Own the industry as long as I get
my money.
Game Pass, right? I don't give a shit. You're allowing games to have creators to make the games that they want. You're growing the studios. You're doing all these different things, and we get the games in a subscription service. Meanwhile, ABK is going to be closing, and they're going to have wrap that whole thing into the fold. And all these other acquisitions that they do make are going to just be added on top of those game shows that Pong was talking about, on top of the release schedule, because we will have games consistently coming out to talk about and be excited about, right? And to our conversation earlier, with the casting a wide net of variety among all of those games and franchises. So
yes,
you know, we talked about the player bases. You're going to be continuously growing the player base by finding gamers that are excited for specific things, right? And it's crazy to think about. We saw the writing on the wall for years here that it was coming when they started getting invested. Once Microsoft was getting more invested, they started making these acquisitions. The Game Pass was a thing. You know, the guys have been, ZeniMax Bethesda was a thing. It's like, holy shit, they're really going for it.
Yep.
And they're going to have that pipeline. Then they started doing, and people don't remember this. This was like 2 years ago, and people don't really think about this. But there was a moment in time, and when they announced a big third-party game, not just an indie game, but a big third-party game day one to Game Pass. And that game was Outriders, right? And I was on Boom Show at that time. I said, this is a monumental change because it means new things are possible, right? New things are possible for Game Pass. Since then, we've had numerous bigger games also come into Game Pass day one from third parties. So that's adding to that pipeline. And we already saw from the leaks of the interest they have in other big brands, whether they think they're obtainable or not. They're going for all of these different games. Now, maybe they don't feel the need to as much once their first party pipeline is so strong, they don't have to go spend as much money, but then that's a win there. And then they're just acquiring more studios to fill in that first party pipeline. And it's like, holy shit, keeping the news cycle going with all of those things, with the Game Pass releases day one, getting Game Pass to be even more of a household name, synonymous with Xbox. People are thinking of Xbox as Game Pass as the ecosystem, adding the quality of life features in there. Well, you mean if I get it, I can play it on PC and Xbox, or I can play it on my phone, or I can hook up a thing to my TV, or just download an app and play it on my TV. All these things, all one place, and my progress goes everywhere. And all these things, right? It, like, adding that all adds value to the ecosystem. And every announcement, when you have solidified the fact to everybody that this ecosystem has an insane amount of value, everything that gets added into that at that point has even a bigger impact, and will have a way bigger impact than it did when they didn't have the pipeline to back it up, right? So
meanwhile, PlayStation's standing there just outside like, what is happening?
What's going on? Listen, they saw it all take place, though. They saw the purchases. They saw what was coming. And the thing is that they kind of, like, they were just enjoying their moment instead of building, right?
Self-inflicted.
They figure that Xbox is down, feeling gonna do crap about it, but if it was everywhere, you see them working on Game Pass, you see them purchasing all these studios. Why don't you start working then, right, on what your next step should be, on what games you should be bringing out? They just didn't put the work in. And listen, I will tell you this. Imagine if they had closed ABK nice and easy and smooth with the idea of how much they wanted to buy, right? Can you imagine how much more they could have done this year?
Oh, yeah.
It would have been insane.
There's a lot of things that happened that probably wouldn't have happened the way they happened if the Xbox would have been able to make some more moves, right?
Yeah.
100%.
And I think it's still happening right now. Like, you see what's going on with some of these studios is all a fallout from maybe Xbox not being able to, at the time, acquire the Crystal Dynamics and Eidos Montreal. Instead, they'll go into Embracer Group and stuff. And now we're seeing the effects.
Well, I mean, Microsoft faced that this year too. They laid off 10,000 employees. Whatever.
No,
Microsoft's also suffered this year too. It's not like it's
it wasn't mainly in gaming. It was in their other divisions, stuff like that.
They laid off a bunch from 343 in the gaming. They did, but like as far as what's going on in Embracer,
well, that was because of what 343.
People that are at 343 needed to be laid off.
Yeah. I don't think people were like, oh yeah, that's such a I really loved E343 what they did for Halo. You know, I feel like it's like people are asking for a change right there. So it was interesting that was actually the most laid off studio from Xbox. But now you see kind of a rebuilding of 343 from within, right? Yep. They're hiring and they're doing all these different things and restructuring and doing stuff there. So, but besides that, like Embracer Group's a completely different situation right now because I mean, they're shutting games down, closing studios. They're laying off people left and right. But it's not just Embracer. You also have other studios that Creative Assembly from Sega that canceling live service games. As well.
Epic just laid off 900 people.
Yes.
Epic.
Epic. There's a lot of that going on. But the biggest fallout, the biggest harm is the smaller studios that get shut down and stuff. Like, that's why I'm bringing up the Embracer group into there, because those studios just got acquired.
Yep.
Right. Like, I mean, think about this. Like, oh, hey, we've got a new home. Finally, we're out from under Square. Oh, Embracer Group. Oh, they're going to be great for us. We're going to grow. Oh, then we get to kick off this new Tomb Raider game. Oh, it's going to be amazing. So we got a partnership there with Amazon too. They're publishing it. All sunshine and rainbows, and then
what's this pink slip?
Yeah. What do you mean? What's wrong? You didn't get your money from your Saudi investor? Like, what's happening? I don't understand. And all of a sudden now we're laying off people from all these studios, canceled projects, all these kind of things. And, those studios, Crystal Dynamics is working on Perfect Dark. Eidos Montreal is working on Fable, supposedly, as well. So, I feel like those would have been Xbox target acquisitions. And they would have, those would have had no scrutiny whatsoever if they got those from Square. And they would have got them for a decent price. How much did they get sold for? Like
300
mil.
That's fucking crazy.
300 million, is a complete bundle.
With the IP, with Tomb Raider. Yep. What the heck with Tomb Raider? That's like
those all coming. Those all be back home soon, Mav.
Yeah,
they'll be home
Xbox
soon.
Gonna buy them, bro.
Well,
but don't make Tomb Raider exclusive. Everyone have a fit.
Oh, make that shit. It's
I would double down on that shit.
You want to talk about organic? It's already been exclusive, bitches. That's organic, all right? Yeah. You just buy it, you make it exclusive again. Say, you know what? Fuck you. This is ours. We put it in Game Pass day one. You got Uncharted. Just make another Uncharted. Oh wait, you're not. You're making this other shit. Hey, that's your fault. You make Uncharted, we'll make Tomb Raider. Let's go.
I kind of feel that some of the Square Enix fallout between them and Xbox was them not buying it off of them before.
That's what it was. Yeah. If you looked at those documents and stuff, it literally happened right after the Activision stuff kicked off. Yeah. And I mean, let's be for real. Xbox was definitely in talks with them about Crystal Dynamic and Eidos Montreal, because I mean, the fact that Crystal Dynamic was literally working on a first party title for them, and it was like, that's all they were working on, was kind of like the beginning parts of it. And then they were trying to slim themselves down by getting rid of their Western developers, because we all are under the assumption, and we're still under the assumption, that Square could get purchased by PlayStation. So they're trying to like break things off so not they can actually sell off probably not anymore. Not anymore.
Jimmy Jim's gone night.
Yeah, but who knows exactly what's happened there. But I do think that all that got broken off due to the fact that Activision Blizzard popped up, and this all goes back to the thing, like, people think like, oh, well, Xbox goes after anything. Who wouldn't go after Activision? Yeah. Like, when you get the opportunity, like, literally that fell in their lap, and Phil Spencer probably got on the phone as fast as he possibly could, is like, yo, your stock is at $63. We'll pay you $97.
Yeah.
And then here we are.
They
3
tried
years
to
later.
get them from 85 or 80 or 85, and then PlayStation's like, we want 105, or then they ended up like going back and forth and meeting in the middle at 95.
Man, they were fighting with PlayStation. The PlayStation couldn't afford that. You heard what
they just went up $2 extra because they extended it or whatever.
Yeah, they ended up at 97 because of that shit. Yeah, and then hopefully it doesn't get extended again because of this stupid. If the EC,
October 18th, baby.
Yeah, I think it's happening. Yeah. I think it's happening, but
it has to.
They said they could close no matter what on October 18th.
Right.
They can close no matter what. It doesn't matter.
The only thing that people are afraid of right now, there's some people like Florian's putting it out there, and he's not saying it's a major concern. He's just saying there's a small one. If the EC decides that they need another new phase 1 investigation because of the new proposal that was made to the CMA, right, about the different transaction, if they see it as a different transaction enough, that EC needs to go and relook at the deal again, which is just be absolute horseshit because it's just better than it was.
But that's
before.
Stupid. It's exactly. It's a better deal for them.
It is.
So,
it is stupid,
and it's universal. They're not just giving it. It's not like they're saying this is only for the UK.
Supposedly, their reasoning would be because of like they would need to make sure that like deals that they had signed are going to be upheld, and they have to investigate it themselves. All this kind of. There's like one person that's saying some things within the EC that has some people concerned about that, but like even if that did happen, it would still they would at the end of the day approve it because it's better. It would just be a fucking waste of their own time and resources and money and stuff. It'd just be ludicrous.
Well, it ultimately goes down to that government and government officials will always try to waste the time of billion and $1 trillion tech companies.
Sound what I heard from the CMA. Sounded like Microsoft was wasting the time, according to that interview.
That's what the CMA tried to push. Sarah Cardell trying to save face there is trying to say, oh, if Xbox would have only known what our concern would have been ahead of time, then we could have they could have addressed it. Well,
they could have saved our taxpayers time and money.
They're not readers, lady. They had no idea what your guys were gonna say, and nobody else had a fucking problem with it. So why would they?
Well, guess what?
They expect for you to? You know?
Guess what? That was all BS because as soon as the FTC got walked in court, the CMA was like, we could talk.
Yeah, 100%.
Literally,
how do we make
the
this
same
happen?
day. Literally the same day. They said we could talk.
Yeah.
We got a new proposal.
Yeah. Yep.
They knew it was over at that point. They knew it was over.
It's been over.
Xbox is already making moves. They already have job postings.
Yeah.
Looking to help out with Activision. You got Call of Duties already popping up saying that they're in your subscription service. The back end's already moving. Things are happening.
Think about how
it's gonna happen.
Well, think about like all those leaked emails that came out that was on the exhibits and stuff. Some of that stuff was like very straight to the point about what Microsoft wants to do with Game Pass, with first party titles and everything. And that meant the CMA and the FTC saw all of that. And they still didn't have a problem, but only with cloud. Yeah. So it just kind of lets you know that it was more of just like this
because they didn't have an argument
in
console market because they don't they're third place. Like
there was nothing Xbox could have said that would have changed it. They were always going to try to find some way to block it.
Yeah. Just because.
Yeah.
Jim Ryan called in a favor.
Yeah. Listen, man, that man
the last favor.
Extra flights back and forth, man. He was like, I don't want to keep flying across the country.
And Jim's like, I'm out. I don't have.
He kept bribing him with PS5s. You know how much like weightlifting he did? Weightlifting PS5s and giving everyone.
That man gained a lot more gray hair over the course of the last year and a half.
Get a PS5.
You know how many different college educations I've paid for as favors to get the CMA and stuff like this to be on my side? I can't afford it anymore. I'm done. I'm washed out. I got no more people to call, no more favors to pull. ABK is happening. It's done. I'm out. I'm gonna stop flying around like an idiot, saying stupid shit all the time. And
hey, Doodle, is that a PS4 VR2 up there?
Yes.
Cool, Doodle. Yeah.
Ooh. Is it as dusty as Ryan McCaffrey's?
A little more.
Yeah.
A little more. A little more dusty.
I thought you was gonna say, no, I keep my stuff clean. Pledge is your friend.
I figure you're referring to how much use it gets.
Oh, well,
no, we look at the layers as just a sign, right? So we count them. We're like, yeah, this is extra shitty because there's like 6 layers of dust on this shit. So this really hasn't been touched.
Listen, man, I got a MetaQuest Pro, and I
I saw. How's the Pro?
It's beautiful. I
Hey,
barely
you
use
not
it, though.
podcasting with the avatar like Zuckerberg just did?
What?
No, we all need to be in there. Just be rocking that shit.
Right,
to see
in
like
our
we're sitting at a
AR
table.
world, like,
I'm down.
shoot, is this what Ready Player One look like?
Does the AR work good?
Yeah, the pass-through was really good on it. It's really good.
Did y'all see those glasses, the Ray-Ban glasses?
Yeah, I did see those.
I need some prescription.
I actually want one of those, but like then I'd be a glasses wearer, and it'd be kind of weird. Yeah, I've never been a glasses wearer.
How do you know? Maybe that's the look you never knew you needed.
I know. I
you know what I'm
oh my gosh,
nothing wrong with it, but like it's like I don't wear glasses, so like all of a sudden I'm wearing glasses just to have the tech of the glasses. Like
you don't wear glasses in the sun?
I mean, yeah, I do.
Well, then guess what? It's just sunny all
I
the time.
wear my sunglasses at night.
Do they change? Do they have like a tint change on them to where like, or do you have to buy a pair for like inside and outside?
Well, you can get. I don't know how the lenses work on that, but you can get
have
transitions
tints on the
too.
inside, my man.
That's true. You have it right.
Yeah. I'm living the good life.
Those look like dark. You know, those look like dark tint. You know, they're like blacked out. You know.
Yeah, you can see. Look at the like brown, like see-through.
Yeah,
just a little tint. Just a little tint.
Do you need glasses? Do you wear contacts?
I do. Yeah, these are thick as fuck, bro. You see this shit?
You see how he started wincing as soon as he took them off.
Hell yeah, dude! I can't see nothing.
Those eyes started dilating. People's dilating and stuff like I got back on. Speaking of which, look at that.
Super thick.
Speaking of looking at your background, why doesn't Marcus Phoenix have a hat on like all the rest of your stuff behind you?
Because his head's too small, homie.
Man, you can put a small beanie on his head.
Baby ass head.
That is a baby head. Look at that Master Chief back there looking cool as heck.
Yeah, right?
he does have a bandana on. I'll give him credit.
Yeah,
for that.
He does. He's already rocking something on his head. You know what I'm saying? Everybody else was cold.
Yeah,
man, I love looking at you guys' backgrounds.
Oh, thank you.
Thanks,
I'm looking at all your arcade cabinets. I'm like, man, I wish I could get one.
Yo, I really thought I was gonna play them more. It's funny, my little ones play them. Like the kids, they
run in here
and they'll go sit back there and they'll just play. You got the Simpsons, you got Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Turtles in Time, you got X-Men fighting game over there. It's dope. X-Men versus Capcom, I think.
The Simpsons was the shit back in the day. Like,
hell yeah, love that game.
I
love it, but I wish they made it more like I want it to be like a cheat. Like I could just like save it and stuff. Like I can't even save that shit. Like you just basically you have to sit there and play the whole game if you want to beat it.
I would just go around and smack
old school
people
baby
with a fucking vacuum cleaner all the time.
Oh, man. Good God.
You do that jump kick, you know what I'm saying? Just jump and dive, beat people's ass.
2024 is strong, like 2025 is gonna be strong, 2026.
That's what I was gonna say. 2025 looks like it's gonna be even
better than 2020.
Crazier.
Is it gonna get better and better every year? Like
I just feel like it's bound to, bro, because the games are gonna keep getting bigger.
Come to a point like what year has more interesting stuff for you?
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
The interesting thing is, when do you got now that we're pretty much, out of the season of not being able to find consoles because stock is pretty pitiful now. When do you got what do you think game systems are mostly sold? Like attached to what? When?
Like holidays.
Like what time of year?
Like the Christmas
just
time,
in general, throughout the year. Like what happens for a system to have to sell other than a person walking into
big announcements or big time game releases, right? Like
what what games do you think those are?
It's gonna be
sports games like football.
Games. Shout out to Fuzzy. That's what I'm talking about. See, listen, this is the thing that's gonna happen with Xbox.
Okay.
You're gonna see pretty much it's just like every generation, the moment that Madden and NBA decide to say that we're not going to be on last gen is when you're going to see pretty much everybody move over then because they can't be without their Madden or NBA. Yeah. But like, it was really interesting looking at Madden and NBA this year. Now, Call of Duty hasn't come out yet, so we don't know what that's going to look like. But I can tell you last year, Call of Duty came out. We sold probably the most PlayStations outside of just restocks. Just because people wanted to play Call of Duty on a new system. Same thing with Madden this year. Like Madden, so a lot of Xboxes and PlayStations because people was like, yo, I want to play the new Madden. I want to play it on the new system. Sold a bunch of S's and X's and PlayStation 5s because of that. NBA was kind of crazy. Like it was stupid. Outside of the Spider-Man bundle that came out, I sold quite a bit of PlayStation and Xboxes just because people were
wanted the new NBA.
Wanted the new NBA, especially with NBA being a game that you can't play cross with PS4 and PS5. You got to either play with PS5 or with Xbox Series S and X. So it's just real interesting to see. And I think with Xbox finally getting this Activision Blizzard thing down, not this year, probably next year or the year after, once they get full control, they can start putting the Call of Duty games inside of Game Pass. That's where you're going to see Xbox Live go through, not Xbox Live, Game Pass go through the roof.
They're bringing back Xbox Live. Forte said it here right now.
Well, Xbox Live ain't never left. Well, it's just that they just gave it a terrible name.
Yeah, Game Pass Core, baby. Yeah.
The thing about PlayStation is this is literally the last year that they're going to have the best Call of Duty sold, meaning like this is the last year that is going to be the max amount of Call of Duties that they sell. Every year after now, as Game Pass comes out and people know that it's coming to Game Pass, you're going to have that trickle effect where people are going to be saying, oh, we don't need to buy a Call of Duty there. We can just subscribe.
Does Call of Duty do for subscription gaming what it does for console sales, right? Like that's going to be
That's why they need to give up those marketing rights and get that 10% back. They need that money. And if they can get out of that deal, they should.
Yep.
Yeah. Could you imagine
this year is going to be the best year of PlayStation to make that money?
Could you imagine if they got Madden, FIFA, and NBA 2K like day and date and Game Pass like eventually, you know, along with Call of Duty? Like that's like the
thing with Call of Duty will be the benchmark, right?
Like the thing with Call of Duty though, you have Warzone, and that's where a lot of people play is Warzone. That's free.
Yeah, but it's still
so
like
that wouldn't be
one of the top selling games every year, even on the disc, or even without that though. Like people play it.
If they can show them,
less than they used to. It's gonna be big. I feel like people play Call of Duty like they buy it and they play it shorter time frame than we used to. We used to play it for like 6 months,
the whole year.
Play like fucking Call of Duty all the time, right? But now I feel like people still buy the game and they play it for like a month or so, and then they like move on to Warzone and other stuff.
Yeah, it's interesting because the numbers that came out from Activision was $1.9 billion of Call of Duty comes from mobile, and 1.6 comes from PC, and consoles was at 1.3.
Right.
And Call of Duty's been losing players over the past couple of years anyway.
They've been losing players over a couple of years, but they still managed to gross over $4 billion a year.
Because mobile's been taking off.
Crazy.
Right? Mobile is ridiculous, man. That's especially
wait till they
the
make
thing with mobile though is they also
Call of Duty that's the actual Call of Duty.
Yeah.
Well, that's what they're getting ready to do next year.
That's what they're putting
exactly.
Out.
Yeah,
they'll be the thing right now that they have a deal with Tencent, so I don't know how much money Tencent's taking out of that, but
yeah.
Well, when Xbox owns them, that's a whole different idea. Because they get to talk to Tencent and make negotiations, do what they gotta do, keep things the way they are, take it over. I mean, when they own them, it's theirs.
I think
that's why mobile is the future. That's where the money's at.
Yeah, that's why King was the biggest part of ABK for them.
That's what they kept telling us, you know. And that's
we told people that from day one when that happens. Like Call of Duty is literally a smoke screen to get King.
Yeah. That's why I think like Xbox is so annoyed about their stuff with the cloud. They're like, stupid idiots. We don't care about that. Like we care about the cloud.
They really do.
Cloud, but like this is about mobile for us. You're sitting there protecting Apple and Google and shit like this. Like we're trying to get into the mobile game big time here.
Yeah.
Like, and you're sitting there arguing about this like non-existent, barely scratch the surface market. Like, are you stupid? Yeah, you're gonna hang on to that to try and block a $70 billion acquisition about something that has the lowest market point of any of the other aspects that deal touches. Like, you're fucking morons. Like, you talk about future potential growth, it has potential, right? But like native mobile is like way more of a thing than the cloud ever probably will be. Like, you see what Apple's even doing now, pushing like for AAA games and shit natively running on their devices.
God, did you I don't know if you all saw that there was some dude like making videos where he's like, I'm playing Call of Duty and Resident Evil and all this shit on my iPhone, like recording it. He's like playing with a projector and the Xbox show. There was 30 seconds of latency between he would hit the analog stick. And I'm like, it's like a terrible experience.
It's like a Switch.
Oh Lord!
Shout out to Sean in the chat. What's up, bro? How you doing, man?
Somebody needs to wash up my phone with soap.
I was asking Sean what he's doing awake. You know, he's an old man. He's got to use the bathroom. Shout out to
that's funny.
Shout out to
I feel that, bro.
While you do your morning thing, you know. Man, it's crazy to see where Xbox is at, like what Phil Spencer's all done, and you know, at the end of the day, what did Jim Ryan do? I don't know.
He raised prices.
Yeah.
And threw a tantrum.
And embarrassed the PlayStation brand.
Yeah. He's gone. He can.
He is.
Is anybody here a Hogwarts fan?
Yes.
Yeah.
Who?
Hogwarts, the game? Legacy?
The game, yeah.
How many?
Oh, man.
How many?
Oh, that's stunning.
God damn it, Forte. That's right. You work at GameStop. They probably give you that shit. That's so dope.
They're part of our displays that we get when we take them down.
I'm getting Starfield.
So if you want it, DM me your address and I'll ship it to you.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yes.
Forte is Santa.
That's so nice.
Santa,
I usually try to give
early.
them all the I try to give them all the ways like to people when I don't use them because I got a Scarlet and Violet one of the Zelda one in my garage that I just have in a box. So
Nice.
I just be one day I'm just gonna post them on Twitter and say, hey, who wants these? So
I just want
that's really nice.
Yeah.
Forza.
You heard
Starfield, but preferably Forza.
Fuzzy's throwing names out there. He's like, "Yo, get me next time."
Hey, there's a Starfield one that comes down in a month.
Yeah, I'm grabbing the
That's
one
like
from my store.
That's the size of this one.
Yeah,
Nice.
I'll hit you up.
Yeah, did you know Psycho's working as a GameStop manager now, Forte?
Really?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Y'all maybe are gonna meet at a
I'm
conference or something.
I'm an ASL in train. No, we're in two different.
Yeah, we're different. What
I'm
region
in the
are you in?
Was that 104?
So 104. That's district.
Oh yeah. I'm in Florida.
Oh, okay. Okay. I'm in region 12, so
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Michigan.
I think that would be 4 for us.
Region 4, okay. Yeah, man. Can't wait to see you at conference one year. It was fun this year.
Yeah, so I'm not there yet. I'm ASL training, so it'll be a bit before I get to SL.
Hey, hit me up on Twitter. Just hit me up if you need anything.
All
like blankets. I got lots of blankets.
Listen, man.
Those are nice. Those are fabric and they.
Yeah. Is your store one of the 1.5 stores?
Yeah.
Oh, so you got the fabric. So he knows what these are.
Yeah, they're nice. They're nice.
They're super nice.
What
bro.
other games you got them coming up for, Forte?
There's our
Start
store
writing down these names.
So our store has a selfie stand. Well, all the 1.5s had the selfie stand where you can take pictures in front of it. So there's a giant NBA one with Kobe on the front of it.
What the fuck is GameStop now?
And then there's the, I think it's Starfield and Xbox section. There's a Spider-Man in the PlayStation section. And I believe in the Nintendo section is still Pikmin.
Yeah, I think it's Pikmin.
Nice.
Yeah, it's Pikmin 4 in the Nintendo section.
Yeah.
And then some of those get replaced on this Sunday. So I don't know which ones. I haven't looked in the box to see which ones come out. But when they do, the ones I don't want, I'll post on Twitter and send to people.
Nice.
Sweet.
Nice.
Yeah.
I like GameStop now. Like I like that they have different things in there that they sell.
Yeah.
A lot of anime stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like you don't just go in there for games. You never know what you're gonna find.
Make sure you get that pro membership, girl.
I have it.
Yo, get that 5% off.
He sell it anywhere, even if it's not in his store.
That's the ASL right there. He come work
That's commitment.
He's like,
yo.
send me your address.
That's
I'll
ASL right
mail you the form.
Listen,
here.
Hey man, get that $10 back and that 5% off those pop figures. Let's go.
Yeah.
While you're here, do you want to pre-order Forza? It comes out next month.
hey, guess what? You get $10 off that Forza if you get that pro card now.
Anything you want to pre-order while you're here? You want to look at the list? No, that's good.
This is a freaking trap.
Hey, you
What
want
the hell?
Hey, Mario Wonder.
Yep, Mario Wonder. Well, they're not 0 pre-orders no more. They took that away.
Yeah, I know. That was an easy sell when it was 0.
I know. It's like, hey, you got to put no money down on this. You just come and pick it up and pay for it then. That was great.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
All of them you have to put money down, or only Nintendo?
No, they had 3 games over the course of the last couple of months. It was NBA, Call of Duty, and Mario Wonder. They were doing no money down on the pre-orders because normally you have to put $5 down.
Yeah.
But they were doing no money down on those games. So you could just walk into the store and say, hey, I want to put money down on Mario Wonder.
Because they know they'll sell the extra copies.
Yes, Jasper.
And that's what I was. And
Still
that's
got
what
the
I was
beta
telling
code
people. I was like,
zero money down for
literally.
Call of Duty.
Yes.
I said, y'all literally pick the games that y'all know. Even if you get a bunch of them, you're going to sell them no matter what.
Yeah. That's
Yeah.
my
I pre-ordered mine from Walmart because they have those cards that it comes
What's wrong
with
you?
How you gonna tell the GameStop dude that you shop at somewhere
I don't know.
else?
Listen, we don't care if people reserve anywhere else. I'm just talking about Walmart.
Yes, because they have those cards. Did you see them? They're the only place that has them. It comes with this little pack of cards, like the Amiibo cards.
Okay, it's not just
so you only get it from there.
Okay,
so I was like, all right, I gotta get that.
I thought you were about to tell me that
they'll cancel your pre-order right
after.
or
GameStop canceled Pong's pre-order for the Constellation Edition, though. So,
oh my gosh!
Well, the website got I don't pre-order stuff on the website.
Yeah,
no, never gonna do it.
Yeah,
store only.
I had a person that had their they pre-ordered the Marvel vs. Capcom cabinet and never got it.
Right,
never got it. So I was like, yeah, I don't pre-order on the website. If I can't do it in store, I'm not doing it.
The website's always fuck you over. I got fucked over by Best Buy. Or no, Target.
Yeah, Best Buy is shady as hell.
I got fucked over by Target at launch for the PS5. I had a pre-order.
Yeah, a lot of
canceled.
People did
they canceled my pre-order.
Yeah, they happened a lot at Target. I do remember that.
Fucking assholes. Then they like tried to double charge my card and stuff. Like they have a weird system. They screwed me over, and so I had to wait several months. Turns out they're trying to do me a favor. They're like,
try to warn you, bro.
Save your money because you know.
Meanwhile, you bought a PS5 like 4 times and kept selling them.
I have.
Yo, C Money pre-ordered his Starfield controller from Best Buy, and the package came all busted up. And when I opened it, I was like, this looks really crappy. So I'm going to go ahead and record it as I open it. There were bibs in there. So somebody like broke the package, took out the stuff, retaped the box with bibs in it.
Is it on Amazon?
Baby bibs. Yep.
So they opened up the box, took the controller, put baby bibs in there.
Yeah. Nightmare Before Christmas, baby bibs.
Yeah. We recorded it. It's a short on our channel.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's literally baby bibs in there.
Y'all remember when
and they wanted the baby bibs back.
No.
Best Buy was like, yo, I'm gonna need those bibs back if you want a Starfield
we're
controller.
Not sending your controller. It's like, what the hell?
Yeah, I remember when like 3-Bit ordered a game or something, and instead like Amazon sent him like leopard stockings.
What the hell?
That's crazy.
That's crazy.
I can't remember exactly what it was. It's like a leopard like stockings or leopard like is leopard something. What was that?
It was leopard print. It was the joggers, leopard print joggers.
He got that instead of his game.
I was like, "What are you buying that for your sisters?" I mean, he's like, "No, I was buying a game." Like,
hey, imagine being excited. You finally get your game. You go out to the front door and like you open it up and there's some fucking leopard stockings in the package.
Oh my god!
But only him, bro. That's stuff
that would piss me off.
Like the baby bibs thing. That's just as crazy, you know.
Yeah, that was
so wild. Like I felt like they should just said, "Yo, keep the bibs."
Yeah,
I mean, no, we need them.
I mean, not that we would need them, but I'm just saying, like, you send me a box and there's bibs in it. Like, just be like, yo, keep the bibs. We don't sell bibs at Best Buy. Like, I feel like that person on the phone was like, yo, I could use those bibs.
Was it one of those things where it's like a third-party seller on their website? Or
I don't think so. No, it's just a regular Best Buy.
So
that was wild.
One day,
that is wild.
So one day at our door showed up 2 bidets.
What?
Bidets.
Bidet. Hey, listen. I think everybody should want a bidet to show up at their front door.
Yo, bidets are amazing, bro.
Yeah, they
bidets, are. The first time I used one, I was like, "What?"
Yeah.
No. I walked in. I was at my odd house. It was it was just a random bonfire we did over there. And she's like, "Oh yeah, I got a bidet now." And I was like, "Oh, okay, let me go in there and see what this is about." Went to the bathroom. And it's like the first time you do it, the water's real cold. And I was like, "Oh." And then I was like, "Oh, that's something." It's great, bro. Everybody should have one of those things.
Yes. No, you'll never go back.
You'll never go back. No wipe needed after that thing.
Nope.
No, it's the greatest thing ever.
Great, man.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
But if you haven't, you don't even know what the bathroom experience is like.
Bro.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. The worst thing is like, obviously when you're sitting, the toilet is cold, right? But it's nice and warm. It's perfect.
It ruins every other toilet in the world.
It does.
Go to work, gotta use the bathroom. You're like, God damn it. Why can't I hold this shit till I get home? I gotta sit on this cold ass seat. This is horrible.
I know.
You're
man.
like Googling like locations that have bidets just so you can make sure you have a good bathroom.
Go on yourself before you even
somebody needs to make a carry on. You know what I'm saying? Like you just walk into a room.
Imagine.
It on, baby. Let's go.
Bring my own seats.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right on.
That's funny.
Well, we went off track again, so
a little bit.
Just a
the
little
Xbox
bit.
2024 lineup. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's what friends do, man. When
Bidet
they start
simulator?
talking about just random stuff.
You can play it on Game Pass on your cloud device and on the bidet. 2020.
There you go.
Well,
Hey,
where
listen,
most gaming takes place.
Listen,
It's luxury. That's luxury gaming, bro.
Yeah.
What do you mean sitting on a regular ass chair? My shit is warmed.
Maybe
you know what I'm saying?
Maybe that comes with the rumored luxury controller, right?
Ah,
You remember that? The luxury controller
I
that was in
do.
the leaks? You know?
Oh, the one with the
Luxury
pants?
stuff.
I'm so excited to see what that looks like.
What do y'all think that is? Is it like fuzzy, like silky, like controller material? I don't know what that means. Not like you fuzzy, but like
Oh
you
man,
know, like-
fuzzy. Like, what we talking about
is
here?
it like a cashmere
Like that
feel to it? Like
that
what-
Sonic controller where they had like the fur on it or whatever.
No, I'm thinking like leather grips instead of just the
Yeah.
rubberized.
leather grips?
Yeah.
Like made out of
Yeah.
real
So
leather?
they're gonna change the material. on it or
We've killed
something,
2 pigs to make this controller. Anyway, all right, let's get everybody out of here, guys. This has been so much fun. C Money and C Money's away right now, so we'll get to him on the outro in a minute. But ladies first, thank you to Doodle for being here. You and C Money are absolutely amazing. I love your channel, and
Thank you.
it was a blast having y'all here. So thank you so much for coming on. I do have, thanks to the chat for calling me out. I do have the channel in the description below as well.
Thank you,
But
guys.
make sure that you tell everybody where they can find you, Doodle.
Well, thank you so much for having us. I had a blast. You guys are all awesome. And C Money, I'll leave that to you.
Okay.
I will
Let
take
them
on that
do
mantle.
the
Thank you
outro,
to the
so.
chat, you
I
guys.
gotta do the grunt work. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I get it. I'm down for it. I'm down for it.
Yeah.
I'm all about that life. You know what I'm saying? Yes. So
hey,
you can.
You're intruding, C Money.
You're intruding.
All right. No.
Get the F out.
All right. No, C Money, tell everybody where they can find you guys.
All right. So first you can follow Doodle at Doodle to be free. The number 2, the letter B, the word free after Doodle on Twitter. C Money forever on Twitter is me. C Money, the number 4, and then the word ever on Twitter. I refuse to call it X. If you don't know where I am when I say Twitter, then you don't deserve to follow us. Okay. That's it. That's it. I refuse to speak to you.
What's Twitter?
I know, right?
Can imagine.
Jesus. You don't want those followers. You don't want those people hanging with you.
They had to change that on iOS because apparently people didn't know what the fuck X was, so they're like formerly Twitter on the app now.
Yeah,
Oh, really?
That's ridiculous. Like that's some stupid ass shit. You can't just put X out there and expect people to be like, yeah, that makes sense. If I see X, I'm thinking Xbox. Okay, that's just the only way. But yeah,
Or
so we have a
softcore
channel.
porn.
It's called On Point for Gamers. And as Mav told you, we have a bunch of shows that we do. So today's Friday night. Normally we have our show On Point Anime and Beyond, which we had earlier today, but we moved it up to be here with you fine folk. So that's normally at 9 p.m. Eastern time. Tomorrow, Saturday, is normally when we do our gaming podcast called On Point, the Gaming Newscast. That's normally at 3 p.m. Eastern time, but we already had it this week because our baby's birthday is on tomorrow. They're going to be 4
Ooh,
twins.
Nice.
Good times. Yeah. And then we have a Monday morning show called Morning Quest with Doodle and C Money, which is myself and the lovely Doodle. And we just start the week off with some game talk, hanging with the chat, just very chill. And it's just a fun time. Start the week off right. Normally about an hour and a half, sometimes 2 hours. Depends.
3.
Sometimes 3. Fine. But the goal is an hour and a half. All right. And then our kind of big show that we had a lot of fun doing is our guest show. her, him, and a guest, which again, we had the dope ass Mav who came and hung out with us for a while. We had a great time. This week's show is on Tuesday. Our show's always on Tuesday. It's at 7 p.m. Eastern time. And this week's guest is none other than our boy Dirt Griggity. I saw him in the chat earlier before. So it's gonna be fire. So definitely come by, show some love, show Dirt Griggity some love. We're on our road to 11K subs. So we're about 80 away. So we would love for you guys to come by, hit that subscribe button, be a friend. We appreciate it.
Yeah,
and already done.
Appreciate you guys. And I gotta say, like, also your guys' channel, like the shows were actually really good and entertaining. I actually enjoy watching like you guys and the way you run it and stuff, like conversations. Absolutely awesome. Keep it up.
Thank you.
Super glad to have gotten to know you guys recently, and glad we could talk, have more conversation. I'm sure we'll do this again in the future, numerous times and stuff. So it's pretty awesome. And then there's the man with the blankets, the man that has blankets. He's got curtains. He's got Yoshis. He's got everything. Forte needs no introduction in this community. He's been around since the dawn of time on YouTube, and he's one of the goats. And a DPS podcast over there with Slow-Mo, but like I just kind of ruined it. But hey, Forte, if people don't know where to find
you keep going.
One of the best.
See, you got to do the grunt work here, man.
You already started.
Remember, everybody, just all you got to do is DM Forte, and he will send you a blanket. That's
there
all
you go.
The blankets are some of these blankets are already spoken for, but the ones that we already got one posted.
It's just ours.
He said anybody gets one. Anybody gets a blanket. Just DM them. Send them lots of DMs.
Everybody, but you know what? I'm gonna send Mav that Pikmin one.
You should send me.
He's gonna love it. Yes.
If you send me the Pikmin one, I will fucking die. I will literally.
Oh my gosh!
If I send you the Pikmin,
you can hang it up right behind you,
or something.
You got to put it right next to your closet in the back. Hang it on the wall.
That's it, right over the closet. You don't need a closet if you got a Pikmin blanket.
I'll send
just rock that
if
shit.
you send that to me, I'll put it on my fucking backdrop. I swear to God.
Yes.
And by the way, Pikmin is the stupidest Nintendo franchise that exists. Period.
Oh my God.
Oh my God.
Great way to insult your guests, Mav.
I know.
Well,
it's going so well.
Well, first of all, this is a great show, and I was listening to, like, that's the one thing I like to do on Friday nights after I get off work, come home, work on our podcast stuff, and I always listen to you guys. Even if I'm not chatting in the thing, I just, really, really enjoy the conversation that you guys have on the show. There's a lot of good chemistry. Shout out to Doodle, shout out to C Money. You guys are awesome. Did a great job, and definitely had to sub to that channel when I was looking. I just saw the Princess Peach's parody, and it just made me laugh. Wow, this is
my
great.
son came up with that.
And I was like, yeah, this is great. So I'm definitely subscribing to this channel. And then I'm like, yeah, definitely have to check out some more of the stuff over there. But for myself, Gaming Forte, YouTube, Twitter, check us out on DPS Podcast every Thursday night, 9 p.m. with the homie Slow-Mo Backslaps. A great time over there. And you guys have a great week. Enjoy the games that you're playing, and be safe out there, man. Don't be giving your money to people you don't know.
Yeah.
Facts.
Can I have $20?
Facts.
Only if you're willing,
I won't want a burger, man. Come on.
In a blanket.
Yeah. $20 in a blanket. I'm good. That's all I'm asking for, bro. That's it.
I'm cold.
Right.
I'm cold on these
man.
streets.
I'm cold,
Winter's
man,
coming.
It's a little craft.
but on a more,
I'm hungry. I want to eat a cheeseburger.
But on a serious note, though, seriously, that's not no funny situation. We laugh about it all the time because some people definitely got hurt on that. So
yeah,
definitely. I don't want anybody out here to change who you are. If you are the type of person that's giving, continue to do that. Just be more careful with the people that you choose.
Yeah,
I agree with that. Don't change who you are. I understand that, like, this was so wrong in so many levels, but don't let it change you, because then you're giving them even more than your money,
Yeah.
Also, if you're gonna give, don't give with any preconceptions of it, right? Like, just give it and be done with it. Whatever happens with it is what happens with it, right? I give money to homeless people on the streets sometimes. You know what I'm saying? If he's gonna go buy a burger, go buy a burger. If he's gonna go buy some crack, whatever makes you happy,
Yeah.
Go do. All right.
You
but I know that I gave it.
Yeah.
Go do.
It's like, yeah. Get to the
Mav
crack.
need- no, that was just a coincidence. I was going to say Mav needs.
Yeah.
needs
If you see me on a corner, you
He's
give
gonna
me
go buy
money,
some
Super
crack.
chat.
Yeah.
I might buy some crack.
there you
I
go.
might put it up my nose during a live podcast too.
You know what I'm
never
gonna do
do that.
next time there's a snowstorm in Texas. I'm gonna send Mav $20.
There you go.
There
You know
you go.
he ain't
He
gonna be
may
able to
need to
leave. He
blanket
ain't gonna be
more
able to
than
leave
that.
his house.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mav needs super chat so he doesn't get those YouTube commercials.
His wife's gonna stop making his overlays if he don't get $20.
Oh, yeah.
Mm.
Can somebody send me money so I can pay my wife, please? I need to pay Caitlin. You know, she made our thumbnail and she's looking at me sideways. Appreciate you.
Yeah, appreciate you, man. That's a
yeah.
great show today.
You rock, Forte. Psycho, I don't even want to know where people can find you, but let everybody know where that is.
Not in the sewers in New York right now because it's overrun with. It's not- I don't know where I'm tired as fuck. So good night, everybody. I'm on social media, Psychonauts 8 everywhere. Follow me there. Jasper will let you know what shows that we're on.
Yes,
Okay.
sir. That man sleepy.
Fuzzy Belvedere, amazing one. Tea Leaf Reader himself. Where can everybody find you, bro?
It was awesome being on here. Always awesome having Forte on here, and always great doing a podcast with C Money and Doodle. You guys rock.
Thank you.
Appreciate it, brother.
Man, this was a total fun time, and man, look forward to doing this again. For those that want to find me, just the app formerly known as Twitter, Fuzzy_Belvedere. Check out the Shop Podcast tomorrow, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on PTK Blam's channel. And then on Monday, right back here for FSP 10 p.m. on Speculations channel. So look forward to seeing you guys then.
Yeah, right on, Fuzz. Appreciate you, bro.
Fuzzy Belvedere with a bald head. No fuzz on that head.
Yeah.
Every time I see this man,
you don't know the fuzz where he's talking about
listen,
it, bro?
every time I look at every time I look at Fuzzy, I always look like it should be like a light in the corner of his camera that's shining down on him.
Yeah, that'd be great.
I love Fuzz, man. Ever since we did PTKL's show together like 5 years ago.
Yeah.
Y'all are old.
Shut up. You'll be there soon.
We are.
Yeah,
He's
doing
just
this
nice being
over
old.
Soon,
3
he's already
years
there.
now. Yeah.
He's already. He ain't had kids yet. He ain't made it there yet.
Yeah.
Kids will do that to
That's
you.
what
Oh,
happens.
yeah. We got 6, so you
We
just
got
multiply.
6.
What you said?
Yeah.
How many? 6?
They got
6.
Yeah.
Congratulations. What's the age range?
Soon to
1,
be
2,
17.
3, 4, 5, 6.
Soon to be 15. 2 6-year-old girls.
Yeah, twin girls.
And tomorrow, boy, girl, twins, 4 years old.
Oh, you had twins. Oh man.
They got
Yeah.
Two sets of twins, bro.
Two
Back to
sets of
back, my man.
twins. That generation
Back to
definitely didn't
back.
skip.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just got
It's
one
called
set
super
of
sperm.
twins.
I guess so.
She was like after the first set, she was like, "Listen, we ain't doing this again."
I was like, yo, we can snap you, yo. We can't keep doing this.
Can't keep doing this, man. It's cost too much money.
C Money's not even like, I'm gonna get you pregnant. He's like, I'm gonna get you pregnant with twins. Twice.
He's like, you know my name,
Twice.
C Money. I can afford this.
That's called, listen, let me help you out. That's called locking that shit down. All right.
Let's go.
The first two were getting older already. He was
I
like,
was like, hold on, wait, I gotta reset the clock.
I was about to
need
say, because you
restart
do
this
got a
shit.
big age gap in there. You was like, listen, I gotta reinvest again.
Yeah, I was like, I gotta make sure I got long-term stocks in this shit.
You got a basketball team and a 6th man, dude. It's crazy.
That's it.
You got everything.
That's it. We ain't messing around.
Oh
We ain't
man,
messing around.
that's great to hear, man. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Thank you, man.
But before we get
That's why we need the sweater.
Yeah, we need all the blankets you can
bro.
send. You know
We
what I'm
cold.
saying?
Got you.
Can you send me 8 blankets for my family, please? We gotta before we get to Jasper's outro, I got to get to these super chats real quick. Vic, the MF click.
What?
Got it.
Did you take the crack?
Remix.
I had a glitch. I am sorry. Error report. Vic, the motherfucking click. Remember for 16 months says back to back. That's right. Alvin with the $2 says literally 10 seconds into Cocoon. This is my shit. Yeah, Cocoon's pretty cool. I dove in for a few minutes myself. Alvin also with the $2. Appreciate you. Says Fortame, name your price if y'all get a Hades 2 one.
Ooh.
Get a Hades 2 blanket. He wants that shit.
Name's your price.
Name your price.
That's risky.
Damn.
$5 million.
3,000.
Mav, you know how few people in your chat probably know Austin Powers?
Yeah, that's true. That's a shame.
These young bucks out in these streets.
You just made Mav really sad. You saw it.
Mav's half-mass chat is Fortnite people.
Fortnite people? Wow.
Isn't your like analytics like 35 to 45? Like most of you people?
It's mostly 35 to 45.
He's got an old audience.
You got you some old souls.
But it's been,
good.
I'll say that like it's changed a little bit. Like there's more younger audience watching recently. It's interesting. As the channel's grown the last year, that trend is like it used to be like 70 to 80% like old folks.
I'm interested now. Now I need to see what mine is.
You know what it is the backwards hat, Mav. Keep it backwards.
It keeps me
Keep
young
bringing
and
the youth.
fresh, right?
That's it.
You know, I
That's all you
shave.
gotta do.
If I shave, I look way younger too. But then you can see my horrible weak chin, so I don't do that. We keep this going a little bit here.
Oh yeah, mine's is 35 to 45 too.
Yeah. So we're Xbox gamers, man. Like we know what's
That's
up.
it.
We got life experience. We understand.
Hey, listen,
the
I'm trying
value of
to
a
trying to
dollar.
build on this 9.5 of this 18 to 24 that I got. Trying to get that above 10%.
Yeah, there you go.
You gotta start playing Fortnite or something.
Yeah.
No.
Minecraft Dungeons has 25 million players. You should make some Minecraft Dungeons content. I don't see a lot of Minecraft Dungeons content out there.
I'll keep making Starfield stuff and watching Sarah do dumb things on camera.
Yeah.
Poor Sarah.
She sucks.
So much
Sarah
slander.
didn't like that.
I used to like
Sarah
her.
didn't
and
like
then-
that.
Listen,
Didn't.
once I saw Sarah take that hit across the head that I posted on Twitter, it was
with
over.
the laser beam. That was hilarious.
My man ran up behind her was like,
Oh, I gotta see that.
It's yours?
yeah, that's mine.
No, I saw that shit. That's what I was dying.
You saw it? Send it to me. I gotta see it.
Oh,
No, she
man.
got rocked.
Really?
was
Oh
like,
my gosh.
Damn.
Rock,
Yeah.
bro. I was sitting there just playing the game, and I was like, "Oh, this is instantly going on Twitter."
What should do? Speak out of line?
She
Just
wanted to
asked
talk
that she do a
about the
line?
relationship.
Oh man.
Meanwhile, Jasper's just waiting patiently to do his outro. But before,
Oh my gosh, seriously.
Before you do your outro, Jasper,
One more thing.
could you do Pong Soul's outro for him, please?
Oh, it's been a while. I got
The abbreviated version.
Yeah, I'm trying to think. How does he open it up again? Because I kind of stopped listening to it because I've heard it so many times.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls.
That's probably right. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's kind of how it starts. I do remember that
I'm
part.
trying. Okay, so he's got living split screen tomorrow. He's got PTK.
Well, he
Xbox.
not tomorrow though. He's like has no shows tomorrow for some reason.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So
He's off for the weekend. He
Wedding.
said, no?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah,
He's
yeah,
taking
yeah.
a vacation?
Wedding.
Yeah, wedding. Yeah. That's right.
Oh, okay. That's important.
He's getting married again.
Oh,
ladies and
boy.
gentlemen, boys and girls, you know the drill. Pong Soul here on Xbox and Twitter. Check it out there. We got living split screen. It's going to be canceled tomorrow. Sorry about that. I got to attend a wedding. I know. Steele said he may go live and stream something tomorrow. That's all good. But you can check it out tomorrow night. PTK Blam. Again, I'm going to miss that. I know it sucks, but it's an amazing show over there. Check it out. You got Fuzzy on the panel right here. Check that out. And then we're going to come at you with Xbox Factor podcast on Tuesday. I haven't been on that show in over 3 years, but I'm going to keep promoting it because Boom's great. So check that out. Then it's back here again with PM and the PM on Tuesday or Thursday night, 7 o'clock. Me and Mav here talk about all the good things. Go 4+ hours sometimes. Last night's show, it was amazing. We got so many talk. It's an hour plus of Starfield talk, ladies and gentlemen. Go check that out. Then it's Friday with the family here. We go left, we go right. It's an amazing show. Pong Soul, everybody. Have a good night.
Oh, you forgot the one last
love
part.
What you play what you love.
Yeah.
It's the golden age of gaming. Play what you love what you play. Pong Soul out.
Oh my God, that's
Jasper, you just need to be Pong.
You just need to go ahead and just, you know what, you should do his outros from now on so they're not as long.
That should just be yours.
Right.
I'm
good God.
Even the mannerism
was there.
It was like, is Pong actually here?
No, that's the funny thing. I guarantee he went to go look. Jasper literally went to go pull up the last podcast just to see what the cadence was, and he's like, "Oh, I got it."
He's repeating it as he's listening to it. Pong Soul here.
Oh, I got it. I got it.
He has some rhythm on that one. He was in it.
He was in the zone.
Jasper, where can everybody?
Get ready for this amazing outro
and your awesome ships.
Yo, check it out. Lord Jasper Twitter, Lord Master Jasper YouTube, all that fun stuff. Monday, Friday, and Tuesday. 10 o'clock right here on the Fun Speculation Network. That's where I'm at. That's what I do. Check out my channel. Been doing Starfield ship builds. Need to post a new one. That's where I'm at. Check it out. Have fun.
Right on, bro. Appreciate you.
Right on, bro.
Everybody, stay tuned for more content here coming up. Maybe we'll do some streams this weekend. Don't really know 100% when I'm going live this weekend if I do, but maybe have some fun conversations on a solo stream or something. But then Monday is back, like Jasper said, with FSP. Tuesdays, Fun Pop. I did watch the Gran Turismo movie, and I did watch Blue Beetle, so we're going to have some fun conversations about that. Then also, we got PM and the PM on Thursdays with Pong Soul and I, and then back Friday for Xbox Ultimate, where Pong's right. Shit goes left and right. And this was another episode to prove that. But I hope you all have a great night. Peace out, everyone. Take it easy.
Good night.